Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Other Castle.
The Other Castle, I'm Andrea.
And my name is Tom.
And here on The Other Castle, we do the plot, lore, and more behind all your favorite video games. That means we cover the production, the creation, the release, and the actual story of the game itself.
Yes, we do. And if you want to hear more, you can check us out over at our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com. So, you can check out our old episodes. Like, last week we did Death Stranding. You can check out our Patreon, where we recently covered Limbo. We've covered World of Warcraft, which was one of my favorite Patreon episodes that Tom's done. And there's also links on our website to our Instagram, where we post reels, fun facts, some behind-the-scenes stuff, occasionally selfies, whatever. Don't come for me. And has links to our Discord.
Yes, our Discord is very fun. Apparently, we are very active creators on our Discord. Apparently, a lot of places, the creators don't get very active.
Really?
Yeah, I guess we are considered active.
Is that embarrassing for us?
No, it means just we interact with you guys a lot, so come join us.
Why was my gut reaction, should we not be reacting to anyone? I just, the people in our Discord post really spicy memes and stuff, and I really enjoy it, and a lot of them are really fun to talk to.
Yeah, it's a nice place to have everybody kind of in one place.
I learned something. They were talking about migraines, and one of the people in our Discord was saying, oh, try ginger ale. And I was like, I've only had ginger ale for stomach aches, and I have some ginger ale in my fridge. I'm going to try that next time I have a migraine.
Very smart.
Migraines suck.
Oh.
But this game doesn't suck. This week, we're going over A Plague Tale: Innocence, which I believe did also come up in our Discord.
I believe this was one of the requests, yeah.
Yeah, so in our Discord, we also have a section where people can suggest games. Most, if not all of the games we're covering this season are from our Discord or from our email requests because we love you guys. And frankly, I'm getting overwhelmed. So I need help figuring out what games to play. And this one was a fantastic one. And I'm super excited. Now, are you aware of this game existing?
I absolutely am aware of it. Never played it.
Okay, wasn't aware of it, have played it.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Kind of the inverse. I might have seen something peripherally, but someone mentioned this and I started looking into it. I do look through all of our game suggestions that come through on Discord, and I think you check the email more than I do just because I'm so team empty inbox that email gives me anxiety to open because there's so many unopened ones, and I'm like, nope. I'm going to do this for my mental health. Can't do it.
We get a lot of spam.
Yeah. Or just confirmations of this posted. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It posted yesterday. You're telling me now. But I do check all the games that come through our game suggestions part in Discord. And I look up at least the trailer. Sometimes I do look up a gaming Henry video or a lore video just to kind of get a sense of it. Some of the shit you guys suggest is super fucking dark.
Yeah.
I promise you, I do look into every single one. Some of them fucked me up where I was like, why? No! But this one I looked into and it was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
The good kind of dark.
Yeah, where it's just like, oh, I need to turn the brightness up.
Right.
That's fine. I can't turn the brightness up in my heart without my fucking fluvoxamine. So, it's different. But we're going to talk about Plague Tale, which is a creepy crawly rat game. If you don't like rats, this isn't for you at all. Guess who doesn't like rats?
At either of us.
Yeah, I found out I didn't like rats.
Oh.
I've seen rats. I've been to New York City, so obviously I'm familiar with them.
Right.
I saw two fight in a subway, both touch the third rail and survive somehow. Which is, that means I'm a real New Yorker, I guess?
In a visit, wow.
Yeah, one stole a pizza out of my hand.
Oh, that's Pizza Rat. He's famous.
So is the Naked Cowboy. There's celebrities around every corner of Manhattan. But yeah, I didn't think a lot about rats. My best friend had a rat when we were kids, and I was just like, oh, whatever, man. But I don't like rats now. So this fucked me up. I apologize if it fucks you up. But also, you have the freedom of choice to walk away from this episode if it grosses you out. I'm not discouraging you to not listen. Actually, I'm going to take all this back. Hang out with us. Please enjoy this episode.
And like and subscribe.
All that stuff. A Plague Tale: Innocence launched on May 14th, 2019, and was developed by Asobo Studio. Asobo has kind of an interesting origin. They're a French game studio who mainly worked on licensed properties. Classics like Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere.
Facts. And Zoo Tycoon, the Ultimate Animal Edition.
Okay, though, that's a legit series.
And probably actually led to all the rat stuff.
They learned a lot about animals.
Yeah, I don't know. They also had one original IP game that they did. It was a racing game called Fuel that came out in 2009, but that kind of came out to lackluster reviews.
I was going to say, I think I remember seeing it, never played it.
I don't believe you see all these games come through. After putting out their own IP in 2009 with Fuel, it wasn't a needle mover. So they went back to licensed games like Monopoly Plus and Disneyland Adventures.
Monopoly Plus is legit.
You do like Monopoly,
Yeah.
unironically.
No, I have a copy of Monopoly Plus. It's a great game.
When we were young, we used to play Boozopoly,
Yes.
which one time ended in me trying to punch someone. It's fine. But, the team at Asobo was like, I get it, it's paying the bills, but I'm not being fulfilled creatively, which, fully understand. They are eager storytellers forced to regurgitate the stories of others through their lens, and it frankly just wasn't enough. At the time, the mid-teen years of the 2000s, the landscape of gaming was shaken up and innovated by our West Coast friends here at Naughty Dog. With 2013's The Last of Us.
I've heard of that.
We may or may not have covered it a couple times. The Last of Us Part 1, obviously, has been cited as the inspiration and the impetus for so many games, we might as well start some sort of BioShot for it like we do with our other shit.
Right.
And at this point, it may almost feel cliche because it's established so many cornerstones of storytelling that are used in other games. But remember, 10 years ago, this was absolutely groundbreaking storytelling.
Right.
The emotional weight of the story paired with engaging gameplay and immersive world building built a runway for other games to exist in this gaming space. Asobo's creative director, David Dedine, has said of The Last of Us, "It's such a great game, but it's weird to claim that we've done the same thing." And that's not the case. We wanted to do something different. What I'd like to say about The Last of Us is that I like the way it opened doors even for the publishing world. Because it's this type of experience that I'm not so sure we would have found a publisher like Focus to create this type of experience. End quote.
That makes a lot of sense. The door was open for these kind of darker games about two people traveling.
If you want to boil it down, yeah, and was that horrible quote when HBO series was coming out where they're like, before The Last of Us, it was only platformers and
Right.
pew-pews, and you're like, that's not... Shut the fuck up. But the gaming world has evolved incredibly on itself, more compound than any other medium known to man. Eat farts. But I understand that The Last of Us is a groundbreaking, innovative piece of media that brought so much storytelling to the forefront of gaming and popularized it and showed how profitable this could be if you cared about scripting.
Right.
In addition to giving The Last of Us their flowers, Asobo has also cited Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, and the Studio Ghibli movie Graveyard of the Fireflies as deep inspirations for A Plague Tale: Innocence. If you're familiar with Grave of the Fireflies, we actually talked about this on our Discord, the movie. You know that it's about to be so fucked up and heartbreaking.
Right.
Just if you haven't seen the movie, very high level, Grave of the Fireflies is a 1988 Ghibli movie about two siblings who are surviving after an American bombing during World War II.
Oh, wow. Already that is starting off with the darkest possible plotline.
I would start with My Neighbor Totoro. If you want to kind of explore this world, maybe Ponyo. That's about a fish who eats ham sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one's... The team behind A Plague Tale: Innocence was only 40 people deep, and they got started on writing this devastating, rat-infested, beautiful story of love and innocence. The core story and the heart of this game is the sibling relationship with protagonist Amicia and her 5-year-old brother, Hugo.
Sorry, Amicia?
Isn't that such a beautiful name?
It's such a unique name. You
I
do
love
not hear Amicia. That is gorgeous.
Oh my god, I'm gonna name a cat Amicia or something. That is so pretty.
Yeah.
Amicia is played by an actual teenager, Charlotte McBurney. She came from the Young Actors Theater, and she really didn't know about video games prior to entering the industry. After she got representation, literally just booking an agent as an actor, Plague Tale was the first audition they sent her on. Prior to getting acting representation, she was a nanny, which she said has kind of helped her form this big sister relationship with Hugo. So she goes out, she's like, I want to be an actress, gets an agent, goes on one thing, and books a protagonist role in a video game.
That's incredible.
And honestly, well-deserved, incredible performer.
Oh, that's awesome for her.
Her little brother, Hugo, is played by Logan Hanan, who is still too young to legally buy either games that he has starred in, both this and the sequel.
That is so cute, though. They used an actual child, though.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He was only 7 years old when he started working on Hugo.
Wow.
Charlotte McBurney is British, but because the game is set in France, she based her voice and accent on her former French teacher, which feels so sweet to be like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it into my performance. I love you. Like, there's something very sweet about it.
Yeah.
She did say she loves the emotional weight of the character and performing as Amicia. She went on to win the Navigator Award for Best Performance in this game, Innocence, and would be nominated for a BAFTA for her performance in the franchise's sequel.
Hell yeah.
She did end up losing that award, though, to Christopher Judge for his Kratos performance in God of War Ragnarok.
Makes sense.
If you are curious and you want to get to know her more, you can see her do a full playthrough of both A Plague Tale Innocence and the sequel, A Plague Tale Requiem, on Anna Demertu's channel. Anna is a performer who actually is in the sequel and is very good friends with Charlotte in real life.
Oh, that's sweet.
The game was generally praised, and not just for Charlotte McBurney's incredible performance. A Plague Tale Innocence was released in May 2019 across PS4, PC, and Xbox, and in a little over a year, it sold 1 million copies. Overall, it got around like an 8 out of 10 across the board and was nominated for a ton of awards, including the ones I just mentioned. 2019 was a banger year, obviously, with our friends Death Stranding from last week, and the other Castle alums like Control and Disco Elysium.
Ah, yes.
They all hit the same awards cycle, so A Plague Tale Innocence frankly did get a little buried because it's such a good year of gaming. But it was still celebrated enough to get a sequel that came out in 2022. And people just kind of really largely fuck with this franchise. There are rumors of a third installment or some sort of expansion on the world, seeing what else is going on with the fucking rats.
Okay.
And I'll just say, sometimes I do hit a wall and do research on what kinds of games I should play for this show. I'll watch those YouTube roundups from like What Culture, Game Ranks, saying, hey, here's games with great stories. Here's games that people have overlooked. Here's games that you should be playing and you're not kind of shit.
Top 10 most slept on games.
Yeah, I don't do Watch Mojo.
No.
But
Ever.
I do a lot of the other ones. And this game does come up a lot. And so does its sequel. And I'm really excited to play Requiem after the season's over because I have so many games to play.
I know, right?
Over the next few weeks. I really did enjoy this. I played it on a PS5 recently, and about midway through, I did turn to Tom and I said, this feels like a medieval Naughty Dog game with no guns. And
Okay.
and like, if you'll remember, I think I said, and I say that respectfully.
Right.
And you went, I'm actively trying to not watch this.
Right.
Because you're going to explain everything about it to me on mic at some point. And I went, yeah, I will. We're in it now.
Okay.
And I love The Last of Us so much, and getting kind of a stealth-based, story-driven adventure with desperate stakes rooted in unbreakable bonds and disgusting enemies. Like, it all really came together for someone who's a fan of that game. This game earnestly unlocked a new fear in me with rats, and I'm unwell, so.
Oh, yay. Now we have scorpions and rats for you to be scared of.
I fucking hate both now. It's crazy to learn new fears in your 30s, but fucking here we are. This sucks.
I'm so sorry that you had to unlock new fears out of this game.
Yeah, and like, again, seeing rats, whatever. It eats, it's gross. Yeah, but seeing the way rats are portrayed in this game was so well done. I have a new phobia. So let's go down the rabbit hole because it kind of sucks.
Or the rat hole.
The rat hole! Ew! That's my least favorite bar! This is A Plague Tale Innocence. It's 1348 in France. In our world, the real world where like I live, this is around when the Black Death began.
Oh.
The Black Death, or the Bubonic Plague, would rage on for 4 years and eventually claim the lives of about a third of the population of Paris.
Holy shit.
It was a rampant disease that was largely spread by rats as a result of Pope Gregory IX declaring war on cats.
I'm sorry, what?
He was spreading propaganda that cats were an extension of the devil. But guess what, Pope Greg? No cats, more rats.
Oh my god, this is a joke, right?
More rats. More fucking plague, Greg.
No, hold on. Like, I've heard of the Black Plague before, the Bubonic Plague, the fucking rat plague.
Yes.
It started because one guy didn't like fucking cats?
One Pope guy, though. He's a very powerful guy that didn't like
like a
cats.
very powerful but that's what started it?
Okay, so cats were kind of brought over from Egypt. There's a shit gang of cats in Egypt, right? They were worshipped. They were like, holy shit, these things are beautiful and they purr. Awesome. I love it. I get it. I'm a cat person. The cats come over in boats from Egypt. They're like, oh, yay, spices. We love salt and shit. Oh my God, cats. Cats are great. Cats were also on a lot of ships at the time and afterwards. Having a cat was good luck in some cases, often calicos, which is what we have. I love my cat very much. So cats end up in Europe and they're kind of cruising around. They're fucking everywhere. I don't know what the fuck happened with Pope Gregory the Ninth, but he released a declaration. And I actually have part of the declaration from the internet, so forgive me. But from his words, allegedly for legal reasons, like don't come for me, he has said, some kiss this creature, talking about the cat, on the hind quarters and some on the mouth. They receive the tongue and saliva of the beast inside their mouths. The novice kisses him and feels cold like ice. And after the kiss, the memory of the Catholic faith totally disappears from his heart.
What the flying fucking serious? Like, I have never heard of this, and I grew up Catholic. Like, what the fuck?
Well, you grew up in a Catholic household with dogs.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
So you never had the opportunity to have the Catholic faith, quote unquote, totally disappearing from your heart, end quote.
But this literal virgin, and I say that because they take a vow of celibacy, not making fun of him.
No, but he's a literal virgin who can't drive.
He had a cat, like, make biscuits in his lap one day. He felt unfucking comfortable with how that went down for him, so he banned cats. The most action he ever had in his life.
And he said, that is the devil.
Oh my God. And caused the fucking bubonic plague as a result.
Exactly.
Oh my God. So don't ban cats.
There are some sites of like other things, like obviously there was sickness from the traveling, you know, just traveling period gets you sick. Whenever I go to a convention, I think I need to take 2 to 3 days off afterwards just to be sick. Because I know regardless of how many people I've interacted with, whether I've been inside a booth or not, I'm sick the next few days.
Right.
I think I was sick for like a week after New York Comic Con. I literally just laid down and was like, Tom, please feed me soup through a boba straw.
Yeah, they call it the con flu for a reason.
Fully. But
yeah.
We also have a cat, so I'm fine.
But he learned the lesson of don't fuck with cats.
I thought you were going to say fuck around and find out.
No, I mean, he did.
But yeah, with that, people would like torture cats and like kill them or like shoo them out of their homes, like not welcome them. There was unfortunately a lot of animal violence on cats, which I hate. I hate that so much. It was also specifically black cats, which, why gotta be black cats?
Is that why there's the superstition of black cats now?
It adds to the lore, certainly.
My
Again, this was
gosh.
the mid 1300s, so like that has absolutely translated over the hundreds of years to the negative stigmas about black cats, which are beautiful. ACAB, all cats are beautiful. 1312, baby. So within removing the cats, the rats are uprising because they don't have anyone to eat them. Cats are very helpful with eating rats.
Right.
They spread all this disease. They're in everyone's fucking homes. You know, it's crazy. It's estimated that worldwide, the Black Death or the Bubonic Plague may have taken up to 50 million lives across Europe and parts of Asia.
Oh.
Which was somewhere between 60 to 65% of the population at the time.
Oh my gosh. You said a third of Paris first, but this is like the global population now?
Yeah, so within Paris specifically, about a third of those people had perished due to the bubonic plague, but worldwide, when we look at it, it absolutely ravaged the world. And in comparison, based on data from April of 2024, COVID has claimed about 7 million lives worldwide.
Shit.
In addition to the rampant disease and sickness, this also lands us, time-wise, near the early years of the 100 Years' War between France and England, which started in 1337.
How long did it last?
I have no idea how long the 100 Years' War lasted, Tom. Fuck you. In our game world, we're in France in 1348, and we see a man and his 15-year-old daughter out in the woods on a walk. We meet Amicia, a fresh-faced French girl with a long braid tied in a bun. She is a daughter of privilege with pale skin untouched by the outside world. Her father is a big, beefy beef boy with broad shoulders and strong arms. He is Lord Robert De Rune, A French knight, the Knight of the Tree. The Knight of the Tree's family crest necklace is a large tree with deep roots. It somehow looks like him with his like wide and powerful stature.
Mm.
Yes, he's hot. And Charlotte McBurney has also admitted, yes, he's hot. He's fully fucking baggable, just wide shoulders, nice eyes, great jaw that looks like just great seating, if you know what I mean. The two are out with Amicia's dog on a sunny November morning. Amicia is eager to show her father how she's been practicing her sling shooting. She has big dreams of being a knight herself and future leadership roles. They wander through the autumnal grace as leaves flutter down from the trees. Her dog runs ahead on a hunt for food. They talk about Amicia's mother, who's back home tending to her baby brother. Amicia has been looking forward to today because she hasn't seen her father in a really long time, and honestly, she sees her mother even less. Her mother's been taking care of her 5-year-old brother, Hugo, for a long time now.
Gosh, Hugo got the much easier name.
Hugo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hugo's it's short and simple. You're not going to fuck that up.
Yeah.
When Hugo was born, he was sick from like basically baby birth and has been sick ever since, and it's to the point where Amicia barely even sees him. They are strangers in the same castle with the same parents. On her walk with her dad, Amicia shows off her skills with her sling, which was a gift from her father. Their dog runs through the woods and Amicia runs after him. The dog finds a boar and begins hunting him, which is super exciting because Amicia and Knight Robert De Rune are like, fuck yeah, we're going to have a ham feast tonight.
Hell yeah.
As Amicia hunts the boar, she notices a blood trail coming from the boar, and she's like, oh, hell yeah, I'm gonna get this bounty. She stops hearing her dog barking after the boar and figures, oh shit, he must have caught up to the boar. Hell yeah. Deeper and deeper into the woods, Amicia comes up on the boar's dead body.
Oh shit, I was
But-
expecting the dog.
But it doesn't look like it was killed by the dog.
Oh shit.
It's been torn apart and its bones are showing. You can see the flesh as it's sticking to the fucking ribs. And she knows her sweet baby angel dog could never have done that.
And like that quickly.
Yeah. Amicia gets worried and calls after her dog, but she doesn't hear back. She comes up on her dog wounded and lying partially in a ditch.
Oh.
As she and her father approach the dog, it whines, and then it's pulled underground by some force.
What the fuck?
Knight De Rune pulls out his sword and asks, "What devilry is this?" before taking Amicia back to the castle. Upon arrival home, Knight De Rune tells Amicia he was a good dog, just to comfort her. He says he'll organize a hunt and sends Amicia off to get her mother. Amicia is absolutely heartbroken. This was her fucking dog. It was her best friend. She is basically a stranger to her family in her own home. This was like everything.
Right. And her knight father couldn't do shit about it.
He pulled his sword and then went, oh no.
Yeah.
This was actual devilry. She traverses her family's grounds. It's actually a really nice, expansive campus because he's a knight in France. Like, he's doing pretty well.
Right. So she is a Nepo baby.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have staff. Like, it's not like a singular maid or nanny. Like, there are people that's entire jobs are groundspeople and they have a team, you know? This is a huge fucking area.
And it sounds like Hugo is putting the baby and Nepo baby.
He's 5.
Okay, but sick 5 too.
Yeah, he's a sick 5, so he's not like sick like he's cool as shit on a scooter.
Right.
Like, he's sick like cough, cough, help me, Mimi.
Got it.
Amicia makes it to a wing of the house that's been dedicated to Hugo, who again, sick-ass Nepo baby,
Mm-hmm.
keeping him safe and secure in his sickness while Lady Beatrice De Rune, Amicia's mother, has tended to him. Amicia enters to find her mother, my girlfriend, Lady Beatrice, working diligently.
Oh, okay.
She's so fucking hot.
Really? Both parents have
Oh
sound like
my
they're just
God.
super hot.
Yeah! Holy shit! I fucking love that! She has a long brown braid with green ribbons throughout. Amicia hurriedly tells her mother what happened, but Lady Beatrice is alerted to noises and tells Amicia to stay here with her brother while she tends to something. She seems worried and runs out, leaving Amicia alone with Hugo, a child she barely knows. Amicia looks over bottles and books and sees that her mother has been studying potions to hopefully help with her brother's affliction.
Oh, potions. Okay.
Hugo is hiding in a small tent in his bedroom playing with toys. He's small even for a 5-year-old because he's been sick and I think he might be allergic to the sun or some shit. He's definitely like overly doted on.
The number of games that portray children that build little tents inside of their bedrooms is just outrageous.
We did just cover this in Little Nightmares, the last game I covered on the main series.
I was thinking Detroit Become Human did
Oh,
it
shit.
as well. Like, I have seen it in a large number of games.
In Little Miss Fortune, it's literally like her safe, happy place. It's
Yeah.
her little tent in her bedroom. And she does look really small for her age. Yeah, all right.
Movies do it too, to be fair.
Hey, Tom, do you remember the first time you ever came to my apartment?
Yep, you had a tent in
I
your
had a
bedroom.
little
Yep.
tent. It wasn't in my bedroom.
Okay, it was the living room.
It was in my living room, and it's where I hid my whiskey.
Okay, so it's accurate.
What? Yes, it was.
Relatable.
Amicia draws back the curtain of Hugo's tent, and she says, "Hey, it's me, your sister, Amicia." Formally, Hugo says, "Hello."
My name's Hugo.
Like, they're clearly not comfortable with each other. Amicia hears some noise outside the window and looks out. A bunch of English Inquisition soldiers have made it past the castle gates and have her father held at sword point.
Oh, shit. Like the opening, like Rogue One.
Yeah. A large soldier, the second in command of the Inquisition, Lord Nicholas, is there in full armor. His face is covered by an armored helmet. He tells Knight de Rune, "I won't ask again. Where is your son?"
Oh.
Knight de Rune doesn't let up, and Lord Nicholas slashes his sword across Knight de Rune's throat.
Oh, you're not going to get any fucking answers out of him that way.
At least not now.
Oh, shit.
Amicia watches as her father's dead body crumbles to the ground. She doubles back in fear, realizing she is obviously in imminent danger,
Right.
and she takes Hugo in her arms and through the castle to escape and find their mother. As they do, English Inquisition soldiers are slaughtering the house staff.
Oh, shit. The staff?
The two kids watch as the people who have raised them from birth and loved them with all their hearts and kept them safe their entire lives are cut down by the English soldiers, all who are asking, "Where is the boy?"
Holy shit. Where's the panic room?
Girl, you'd think they'd have one. Jodie Foster had one in the movie The Panic Room. These people are definitely more well off than Jodie Foster in The Panic Room.
Right.
Amicia guides Hugo out and they run into Lady Beatrice, where Hugo runs into her arms. Amicia asks her mother what's happening, and Lady Beatrice just doesn't have an answer, but assures them they'll be all right. Like, as a parent, I'm sure that is fucking terrifying. Amicia takes Hugo's hand and follows Lady Beatrice to get out of the castle's boundaries. The three make it to a gate where one of their servants has been hiding. He sees the family and flags them down, brings them over to a door, and leads Amicia and Hugo off campus. As Amicia and Hugo step off of the grounds, Lady Beatrice tells Amicia to take Hugo to Laurentius. She hears a horse coming, and she and the servants square up to fight the Inquisition. Lady Beatrice insists Amicia and Hugo just run. Don't worry about us, just run. And tells Amicia she doesn't need her mother anymore, and then shuts the door.
Oh.
Amicia begs her mother for a fucking crumb of context, because I haven't seen you in 3 weeks, and this is rough. And just, like, also, come escape with us.
Yeah.
We're on the other side of the door. Open the fucking door. But as the door shuts and Amicia starts banging on it, a sword is shoved through the door.
Oh.
It's miraculous that it doesn't hit Amicia, but she looks down and sees it is covered in blood.
Fuck me.
Amicia watches as blood pours through the door where her mother stood 2 seconds ago.
Fucking run.
She and Hugo are now fully alone. Amicia takes Hugo's hand and they run through the woods, her mother's last words ringing in her head, to find Laurentius to help her brother. Hugo, again, is 5, and he's confused, and he's like, "What's happening? Why are we being chased? Where are we going? Like, can I get a snack? What's happening?"
Yeah, poor Hugo has less context than you have.
Yeah, neither of them have fully formed brains at this point, you
Yeah.
know? Through tears and fears, Amicia says she doesn't know, but they have to keep going. Amicia and Hugo evade the Inquisition and make their way into the town. The town, however, feels completely empty. There's food stands and storefronts, but no one is working. All the food in the food stands is rotten.
Oh.
No one is on the streets, and all the windows are closed. Amicia calls out to adults, hoping that someone can help, but no one answers her, even when she starts banging on their doors. Hugo tries to help and goes, "Yeah, we're hungry. Please help us." Amicia's like, "We just saw our fucking parents die. You can wait." Hugo sees that some of the doors have been painted with big X's across them. Amicia tells Hugo that, oh, those people are sick and we need to leave them alone. She scolds him to stay by her, and they come up on bodies being chained to pillars and being burned.
What the fuck?
There's some villagers around the bodies who see Amicia and Hugo. One of the villagers blames Amicia and her family for bringing what they say, quote, is the black thing to the village, for getting everyone sick. And Amicia is like, "I'm literally just a girl. What do you mean?" And then they just take off. So she and Hugo start running. The angry villagers are just chasing them, looking for their privileged heads to roll in exchange for their suffering.
Eat the rich.
Fully.
But not the kids. The kids aren't at fault, though.
These are children. Anastasia's not fucking to blame for the Russian Empire.
Right.
Like, they are not the Rasputin in this situation. Amicia and Hugo tear ass through the village, evading the furious working class. They are persisted mercilessly until a small old village woman, Claire V, opens the door and offers them shelter. She is a cast favorite character and Charlotte's absolute favorite character in real life.
Okay.
She's tiny and she keeps Amicia and Hugo safe until the villagers move on to a new area. She even offers Hugo and Amicia a fresh set of clothes and helps Amicia upgrade her sling. We love her.
Sick.
Inside, Hugo starts to get antsy and asks for his mummy. Amicia's like, "Hey, chill. We just need to find Laurentius. That's all we need to do. We'll figure it out later, okay, buddy?" Claire V talks to Amicia and Hugo and asks where their parents are. Hugo says their parents are at home, waiting for them. "I don't know why we're here. This sucks."
Oh my god, so he doesn't know jack shit. Oh, this is gonna suck.
Amicia winces hearing this because obviously she saw what happened to both of them with her own eyes. Hugo starts to get antsy and picks up a mallet, swinging it around on surfaces saying, "I want to see Mummy! Bring me Mummy!"
Oh no.
Frustrated, Amicia screams at Hugo, telling him to shut up because Mummy is dead. Claire V goes to comfort Amicia, and Hugo runs off saying Amicia must be lying. This was Charlotte's first filmed scene.
Oh god.
It honestly feels like really emotional for your first scene. You'd think it'd be like, "Oh, hello, I like to eat apples." Like,
Yeah, welcome to work. We're gonna give you the hardest fucking scene to deal with.
you're gonna have to scream at a 5-year-old that his mother is dead.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Also, she was 16. Like,
Welcome to acting.
yeah, and it's her first job. Amicia chases Hugo in the streets, apologizing and begging him to come back, scared for his safety and desperate to not be alone. She comes up on a villager who's about to attack Hugo, and using her sling, she hits him in the head with a rock. And as David did with Goliath, the villager is knocked to the ground, dead. Hugo runs off after and is cornered by a villager, this time who is in full metal armor, which is much worse.
Yeah.
Amicia runs after him, and using her sling, defeats the armored villager in the game's first boss battle.
How the fuck what does this sling do?
I think you're familiar with a sling.
Yeah.
It slings rocks.
Exactly. How the fuck? She's taking out armored dudes?
Yes, piece by piece, Amicia knocks his armor off with rocks and eventually kills him with a well-placed rock to the head.
Damn.
As his body crumbles, Amicia cradles her sling in her hands, realizing she has started to take life from men. Hugo runs to her, holding her and hugging her tight. But she has no time to mourn or process this horrific realization about her capabilities for violence. She takes Hugo to hide in a church before the rest of the villagers rage on this pair of children. In the church, it's quiet and it's empty. Amicia and Hugo light a candle for their parents before going deeper into the monastery. They see one monk, Father Thomas, who tells them to go away because it's dangerous here. They say, no, we need help. And he just scutters off because he's like, well, I'm not interested in that shit. I didn't get into religion to help people.
Also, it sounds like they were religious people that came knocking on your door. I don't think you want to be running into their arms.
Fair enough. Amicia and Hugo try to follow his trail, but Hugo gets distracted when he sees some carnations sprouting in the courtyard. He runs over to look at them. Hugo, being an indoor kid, loves flowers. He thinks they're so pretty and so cool. Amicia goes to his side to get him to get his shit together because we just lost our parents an hour ago. Come on, buddy. But Hugo takes the time to pick a flower and place it in Amicia's hair. Even in the face of danger, fresh off of her first 2 kills, Hugo found a way to make Amicia smile and feel very pretty.
Oh.
Throughout the game, the terror, the sickness, the sadness, Hugo will find flowers bursting from the earth and take the time to appreciate them. And as he does, he will always take one to place in Amicia's hair, so she too can feel this bit of joy.
That's really sweet, actually.
Yeah, it's the one moment of grace they share to show their love of each other and find ways to keep their heads up. Amicia and Hugo keep exploring and find a dormitory room for the monks where all their beds have been broken and the room is completely trashed. Hugo says, maybe they're building bigger beds. And Amicia says, I don't think that's it, buddy. Deeper in the monastery, they catch up with Father Thomas again, who is insistent that they leave until he notices that they're wearing the tree pendants of the De Rune family. They say that, yeah, we're the De Rune children, and then he starts listening to them, now that he knows they're the children of knights.
Right.
He becomes soft and sympathetic, but still very much insists that they have to fucking leave. Father Thomas goes to put them on a path towards Laurentius's farm, like Lady Beatrice wanted them to, and helps them escape the village through the underground canals. Father Thomas tells them about the plague and all the death and all this shit, and as they move forward, he tells them to stay in the light of his torch. In the depths, Father Thomas looks for the only other person who's left in the church, Brother Morrill. Father Thomas hands the torch to Amicia and wanders out of the light of the torch, and, as he does, Hugo gets visibly nervous. Then, all at once, big black rats pour in through the church.
Oh.
Father Thomas moves as fast as he can back to Amicia and Hugo and the light, but he simply isn't fast enough, and a wave of rats crash and engulf his entire body.
Oh, shit.
There are easily thousands of moving rats on screen at once. They move quickly and erratically, shaking and squeaking with glassy white eyes lighting up their soot-black bodies. Amicia and Hugo are left alone, huddled under a burning torch, surrounded by a lake of rats. They move forward through the church tunnels using the light to ward off the rats. As they make it through, they find half of the body of Brother Morrill, also torn apart by rats.
Jesus.
Amicia realizes, oh my god, this is the plague the villagers were dealing with. This is where the illness and the deaths are coming from.
I don't think this is how the bubonic plague went.
Well, I don't want to be the one to break it to you, but this is a work of fiction.
Okay. Like, I'm pretty sure it was just a disease. This is fucked up.
You're like, I thought it'd be more coughing rather than like immediate eating of the body. Hugo clings to Amicia as they navigate through the church, moving along with the light to avoid the barrage of bastard rats. They get through the church, then through its connected crypt, and finally out into the outside world again. They're chased by rats, and as they finally make it outside, they are taken in by sunlight and safety. As Amicia lays on her back, catching her breath, letting the sun kiss her skin, Hugo sadly says, I want to see Mummy. I don't want her to be dead.
Too bad.
Oh my god. You're a big sibling. You would not say that.
No, I wouldn't.
Amicia sits up and reaches out to hug her baby brother. Amicia and Hugo trudge on towards Laurentius's farm. Unfortunately, they run into another English Inquisition patrol. This patrol is huge and has taken over a long stretch of road, a bridge, and a small area of the village. In the midst of looking for Hugo De Rune, the Inquisition is also making time to loot other people's homes and businesses, taking advantage of the chaos the plague has inflicted on France.
Those fuckers.
I know! Amicia sneaks her way through with Hugo. Hugo overhears that the soldiers were under orders to find Hugo De Rune and keep him alive. And he's like, that's my name.
Yeah, but why though?
Once Amicia and Hugo are safe, Hugo asks Amicia why they're looking for him. He doesn't know what he did. Amicia tells him, no, you didn't do anything wrong, and reassures him that they'll be okay. They'll figure it out. After sneaking past a majority of the troops, Amicia and Hugo get back to the road to find Laurentius. Hugo makes them stop, holding his head in his hands. He tells Amicia his head is hurting. He probably could use some ginger ale. Amicia worries, knowing they can't just stop here in the middle of the road, and asks Hugo what Mummy would do. Hugo says, well, Mummy would give me medicine. Amicia doesn't have any fucking medicine, and she doesn't know what he was taking, so she's like, well, what if I give you a piggyback ride?
Sickness cured.
It's close enough, right? Hugo tells Amicia that he misses Mummy. Mummy says he shouldn't leave the house, and that's probably why he feels so funny. Amicia is working so hard to be good, but even in this moment, she bitterly says, well, at least you got to see her. Hugo doesn't understand, so they just keep trudging on. They keep going, and they do see Laurentius's mill in the distance, and they're like, oh, thank God. This person is supposed to be safe. Amicia puts Hugo down so they can focus, especially as night is starting to fall. As they approach, there are huge hogs, all dead on the road.
Oh.
As they get closer, the ground erupts and a volcano of fat rats pour out into the road.
Ugh.
Amicia holds Hugo's hand as they navigate between loose, fiery torches lighting the way and, well, waves of fucking rats.
It's almost like they're using other animals as bait.
That's exactly what they were doing.
Shit.
You're skipping ahead, but yeah, they were leaving dead pigs and stuff out in the road so the rats would go after those corpses and hopefully be distracted enough to leave the humans alone.
Oh, I was thinking the other way around. I thought the rats were leaving the corpses out so that way humans were like, oh, check out that hog, and then they were attacking the humans.
Okay. No. As a human, if you saw a big-ass dead hog on the road rotting in the middle of dirt, would you approach it?
It sounds like Amicia did.
But she has to get to the fucking mill, Tom. But if you're just going out like, oh, I'm going to go buy my medieval apples. Oh, look, a bunch of corpses. Would you, A, go towards it, or B, mind your business?
Yeah, I'd probably mind my business.
Yeah. Or you wouldn't last very long in the plague.
Nope. Already dead.
No, immediately dead. What happened to Tom? He checked out a bunch of dead corpses and was surprised when he was added to the pile. Amicia grips Hugo's hand and dashes under the shield of fire to evade rats. There are tons and tons of dead pigs, all their bodies punctuating the path to Laurentius's farm. Amicia and Hugo make it up to the farm, where they see some living pigs and horses and loose chickens, which is a good sign.
Mm.
This area is well protected from the rats and has fires and light illuminating the area. Amicia and Hugo enter the farmhouse and they hear coughing. They run to the room with the coughing and burst open the door. Inside is an older man, Laurentius, coughing in bed. At his side is a small boy who's probably about 14 years old. The boy whips his head around at the intruding Amicia and Hugo and tells them to stay back because Laurentius is contagious. Laurentius looks up and immediately asks, is that Hugo? Here?
What the fuck?
Laurentius realizes Amicia and Hugo did in fact make the journey specifically for him, and he knows that cannot be good. He tells Amicia and Hugo that an ancient evil courses through the De Rune family veins. In Hugo's blood, there is a curse. Laurentius worked with Lady Beatrice to slow the process of the curse. With the rat plague coming up, though, they have been unable to slow the process. Laurentius tells Amicia that she must continue their work, that Amicia must protect Hugo. Amicia cries out that her parents are both dead and it happened this afternoon and I'm having a bad day and she doesn't know shit about any of this and she's scared and she's wildly overwhelmed. Hugo reaches out for Amicia's hand, but she swats him away and tells him to leave her alone. It's a sibling moment for her, but a heartbreak for Hugo as his big sister denies his comfort.
Mm.
There's clanging and banging outside, and Laurentius tells them all that it must be the Inquisition looking for Hugo. He tells Amicia that they must make it to a castle called Chateau d'Ombrage, because that's where they would be safe. Laurentius looks at the small boy at his side, Lucas. Laurentius instructs Lucas to go to his barn and finish the ignifer. Lucas comforts him and tells him to save his strength. Lucas then turns to Amicia and tells her, hey, I'm sorry about your parents, but you're not alone anymore. But we do have to move fast, so get your shit together. He tells them to come and help with the ignifer, and it'll help with the rats. Lucas is extremely rational and level-headed, and we love Lucas. He's awesome.
Okay, good.
Amicia reaches out for Hugo to take him with them, but Hugo rejects her hand and sadly walks on.
How do you like it?
Yeah. As Amicia, Hugo, and Lucas leave Laurentius' side, they see a wave of rats have infiltrated the house. Amicia helps lead the boys through the rats, and they make their way to Lucas's alchemy laboratory in the barn. Lucas explains that Laurentius is a doctor, but he's also a great alchemist. Lucas has been working under him and studying under Laurentius for the last most of his life? Years? It's been a long time. Lucas isn't blood related to Laurentius and is most likely an orphan or was abandoned and just kind of ended up in his care. Amicia helps Lucas create a compound called ignifer, which creates fire. And Amicia's like, holy shit, I did an alchemy. Lucas makes a comment that, oh, you know what, you're a natural, just like your mom. Which is kind of a bummer because Amicia's like, I barely know my mother. Why do you know this about her?
Yeah,
God damn
right?
it. Were you raising other kids and not me? Fuck you. Amicia, Hugo, and Lucas go back inside to see Laurentius. Hugo is still like pouting and refusing to hold Amicia's hand. Amicia takes a moment to try to comfort him, but as she does, the rats erupt in the homestead.
Ugh.
Lucas is concerned for Laurentius because he's so sick and attempts to run in to save him, but Amicia stops him from running into the wall of rats. They watch as distilling tanks topple and hit the lit torches in the home and burst into flames. The house is quickly swallowed up by fire as Lucas watches his mentor die alone in a straw bed. Amicia knows there is never time to mourn in this world and quickly ushers Lucas and Hugo away from the flaming farm.
Never fucking time.
They manage to get to a boat and slip quietly into the river, away from the rats, and towards the castle Laurentius told them about. In the early hours of the next morning, Lucas tells Amicia about the sickness Hugo has. He tells the story of something in blood called the prima macula. It's an affliction that silently travels in the blood of certain families. But recently, after the Great Break, the breakout of rats, the macula woke up in Hugo's blood. See, Tom, it's all connected.
Clearly.
Lucas tells Amicia that the macula has no agenda, but follows the host's lead, and that in the right hands, it could change the world. Lucas tells Amicia how hard Laurentius and her mother had worked on a cure for Hugo. The three arrive on a riverbank, and Hugo wakes up. Hugo hears the sound of frogs, and it is immediately energized with joy. He never really got to see frogs from behind the castle wall, so he's super excited to see them hop. He literally just runs over and he's like, hop! Hop, 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 hop. Good frog. Hugo follows the frogs and runs off a bit and finds an English shield. It's probably not foreshadowing.
I just figure a 5-year-old knows one thing about frogs. Gotta see it do it.
Yeah. You got like one thing. You better fucking hop.
Right.
Down the path, they see an entire army of English soldiers covering the roads. There are easily hundreds, and they're all dead, ravaged by rats. The death is so thick, they have no choice but to walk over and through corpses to make it across.
What the hell?
Hugo even asks, are we hurting them? And Amicia has to explain how death works.
Fuck. Oh my god.
It's really horrific. Are we having fun?
Yeah, right?
Amicia grabs Hugo's hand and Lucas trails along tightly as they make it through an aqueduct. Unfortunately, as they do, the sun begins to set and the rats wake up to take over the darkness again.
Oh, shit.
Amicia and Lucas partner on some puzzles and keep each other safe from rats as they make it out of the carcass pathway.
Sorry, you said they have to do some puzzles, so I'm just like picturing them doing literal puzzles.
Like a Rubik's Cube. They're playing hangman and they have to like, all right, we can walk over this dead body now. The three come up on one living English soldier who's walking alone with a lantern for the rats. The boys give Amicia the idea to shoot out his lantern, which she does. This destroys his light, and the rats eat him up where he stands. It is the game's first really devious moment, and frankly, I'm gonna be real, it's so fucking fun every single time to hit someone's light out and let the rats eat them.
It's devious, but fun.
But very, very fun and satisfying. There's more English soldiers who actually are alive patrolling the roads, but eventually, Amicia, Hugo, and Lucas make it to an abandoned road. They're all just about in the clear when they come across a soldier harassing two 16-year-olds, twins, a girl and a boy. The boy tells the soldier to back off his sister, then shouts out, "What about them?" and calls out Amicia, Hugo, and Lucas, who are trying to sneak away.
Oh, what the hell?
This distracts the guard enough to turn around, and that's when the twins start beating the soldier to death with their bare hands.
Bare hands, though.
Hell yeah. The soldier moans as he gets his shit kicked in and attracts more guards. The twins take off, and Amicia declares, "All right, we're following them now." All 5 kids run down the road when Hugo trips and falls. Amicia obviously stops to run after him and tells Lucas to follow the twins. Lucas obeys and disappears into the night with 2 strangers. Amicia runs to Hugo, who's picked up by an English soldier. Amicia goes to save Hugo when she's knocked out by a different soldier.
Oh, shit.
Immediately captured. In the morning, Amicia wakes up in a brass cage on an English encampment base. A guard taunts her, saying he knows who she is, Lady De Rune.
Uh-oh.
He tells her to shut up because the better you look, the higher the ransom. Which is just code for child trafficking.
Ugh.
And I don't like that.
No. And I'm like, also, your parents are dead. Who's doing the ransoming?
Right, yeah, because and Amicia's even like, what ransom? I'm an orphan.
Yeah.
He tells her to cork it and walks away. Amicia calls him a mangy dog under her breath because she's still like, fuck you. In the quiet after the soldier is gone, the boy twin from earlier comes up and unlocks her cage. He holds his finger to his lips to stay quiet, and Amicia understands. He runs off and climbs up to one of the lookout towers in the fucking campus, while Amicia sneaks out of her cage. And as she runs, she sees the girl twin. The girl twin explains she's Melly, her brother is Arthur. Now please shut the fuck up. Melly leads Amicia through the camp. As they do, Melly will signal to Arthur, who is traveling via the towers and pillars above, to make a distraction and make space for Melly and Amicia to escape. Amicia is adamant that they get to Hugo now, and Melly is adamant that Amicia shut the fuck up now so they don't get goddamn caught. On the way, Melly likes to steal supplies and random shit, which confuses Amicia. She's like, why are you stealing? We have to focus on the mission.
Yeah.
Melly says, well, I need this rescue mission to be profitable, so get off your fucking high horse, princess. Deeper, in the most dense part of camp, they see Hugo in his own cage, crying out for his sister. The soldiers taunt Hugo, who's, again, a 5-year-old boy. Like, how hard are you to be like, oh, are you scared? Yeah, he's scared. He's fucking 5, you freak.
Ugh.
But then the soldiers are alerted by another soldier that the girl is missing. Amicia. The soldiers are on high alert for Amicia now, who's sneaking around as she runs around to get Hugo free. Once the girls get Hugo free, Amicia takes his hand and doesn't let go. Melly follows the reunited pair, stealing things along the way. She's about her ROI, and we will never fault her for that. So this section is high stealth, and I watched 3 different run-throughs, and somehow all 3 of them were like no-kill or low-kill runs. But when I played, I killed every single soldier on the map because that's what I thought you had to do to progress in the game. And it was complex, but it was rewarding, and I fully didn't have to do that.
It was just a slaughter fest.
There was blood everywhere. But I obviously watched like Charlotte McBurney's playthrough. I watched a different playthrough that was like the movie version, so I could take notes on like dialogue and stuff like that. And I think I watched one more. And every time they found ways to kind of sneak around the soldiers, and I was like, I really thought you're supposed to kill all of them. Oh my god.
And you're over here like, AKAB, all knights are bastards.
Yep. As Amicia, Hugo, and Melly approach the gate, it is opened wide to reveal Lord Nicholas, the ironclad English knight that was at the decimation of the De Rune family compound.
The one that slit your dad's throat.
Yeah.
Oh, this fucker.
The 3 kiddos look up at the massive murder night. Lord Nicholas gives the camp shit, saying he paid for a ransom and he still has to catch them his goddamn self. This is fucking amateur hour. Amicia gives Melly quick lore, saying, that's the guy who killed my family. And now he's gonna kill us.
Sorry, I love the exposition.
That she turns around and is like, here's some lore.
Right.
Thankfully, the 3 kids have a secret weapon. Arthur. With death from above, Arthur is holding a barrel that is on fire above his head.
Shit, yeah.
He yells, Melly, run, and he throws the barrel. Amicia, Hugo, and Melly sprint out of the camp and find another way out. Melly is like, what the fuck did you guys do? Why are there people trying to kill everyone? Amicia reiterates they want Hugo, and Hugo did nothing wrong, sweetie. You're perfect.
Yeah, right? Like, how do you explain to a 5-year-old they have done nothing wrong?
Yeah, especially when all of England is trying to capture and kill them.
Right. Like, so many people are dying in front of him, over him, for God knows what reason.
Fully. The camp begins to burn as Amicia, Hugo, and Melly barely escape. On the road, the three of them catch their breath. Melly says she and Arthur have a safe house nearby, and that Lucas is going to the chateau that Laurentius told them about. Melly says, we're on the right track, but we're not safe yet, so we have to fucking go now. Melly also asks about the Inquisition and why they want the little dude. Amicia is very complimentary of Arthur, saying, oh my god, he was so brave. I can't believe he threw a flaming barrel. Like, that was fantastic. He's so helpful. I love that he can do parkour. Melly tells Amicia, well, don't fall in love with Arthur because he will absolutely break your heart. Amicia goes, that's crazy. I'm not trying to fuck your brother.
Yeah.
Is he single, though?
Oh, Arthur's a fuck boy.
Honestly, Amicia lands for me as so sheltered she forgot that she could have crushes on people.
Right.
But that's just me.
She didn't know a plague was happening.
Yeah. Melly, on the other hand, weirdly horny.
Oh.
Sometimes she'll just be like, oh, Amicia, are you trying to impress me?
Oh.
Like, the energy is confusing, and Amicia doesn't really shoot her down. She's like, no, I just want to move this barrel and solve this puzzle. Hugo has another macula tacula and begins to crumble. His head is aching, his legs are shaking, and he is scared. He could really use a ginger ale. Amicia picks him up and takes him piggyback the rest of the way to the twins' safe house. Once inside, Melly lets it slip that Lucas told the twins that the De Runes are rich and they could get a payout if they saved Amicia and Hugo. It's clear Lucas embellished a little bit because, you know, why wouldn't he?
Right.
He just needed to get Amicia and Hugo out of there, and, like, honestly, good for him. He did what he needed to do to get his friends help. Melly's like, well, god damn it. At least I stole a bunch of stuff. Fuck you. And then they go to sleep.
I like these twins.
I love the twins. They're fucking awesome. In the middle of the night, the three wake up to footsteps of soldiers breaking into the safe house. Silently, Melly leads Amicia and Hugo out into the night where they run into more soldiers. Amicia is solemn and is so sorry to Melly that Arthur hasn't shown up yet. Melly's like, whatever, it's fine. He's a big boy. He can take care of himself. Don't give up hope yet. There's heaps more soldiers, and the gang overhears some of them talking about capturing a boy who helped the De Runes. And Melly's like, well, that's definitely fucking Arthur. They mention having him held at base camp and being interrogated about Hugo. Melly's like, well, god damn it. Now he's being captured. He's being detained. He's probably being tortured. Oh my god, this fucking sucks. Amicia tries to comfort her, but Melly fully brushes her off. On the edge of the soldiers' footpaths is one soldier who's taking a small boy to the Inquisition base camp. They all recognize him as Lucas and go on to knock out the soldier. They take Lucas back, and now he's reunited with Amicia, Hugo, and Melly, and Hugo tells Lucas that he was in a cage! The Teen Rat Squad head toward the chateau Laurentius told them about, Chateau d'Ombrage. Lucas does apologize for lying to Melly about getting them a payout for saving the De Rune kids. He says he was just so scared of losing them. Melly says, it's fine, it's in the past, but I want to be very clear. Once we get to this fucking castle, I get first dibs on anything I want.
She wants to rob a fucking castle.
Lucas fully agrees to these terms and is like, yep, that's fair. Upon reaching the campus of Chateau d'Ombrage, the kids are met with waves of rats. Amicia is tasked with lighting the way as they run through the night to safety. In this section, and only in this section, the game does the coolest shit and allows flashes of light from lightning bolts to dispel rats, making escaping the rats a timed event.
Oh shit, that's really cool.
I was so bummed this never came back around as a mechanic during any set pieces because this was really fucking sick to be like, okay, I hear thunder, 1, 2, 3, flash of light, run. It was so cool.
That is awesome. I love when games can incorporate something like that just out of the blue and then just not use it again.
I don't like that they don't use it again. I really could have used more of this because I thought it was a really fun puzzle mechanic. Because it was like, you're kind of going around the woods and there's a part that kind of wraps around a mountain and there's an edge and you gotta like sprint. Oh, it's so fun.
That's really cool though.
Chateau d'Ombrage has a very intricate rat defense system made up of fires and braziers and ramparts and other castle terms that I am blissfully unaware of. Melly and Amicia, being the two oldest here, clear the courtyard of rats for the safety of the castle. There are just lakes and lakes and lakes of rats. It's almost like an ocean. But Amicia hypes them up, saying it's 2 girls against thousands of rats. And she narrates their actions, saying, Amicia the Amazon and Melly the Stealthy have conquered the Chateau d'Ombrage.
Already?
Melly thinks Amicia's a fucking virgin who can't drive.
No, that's the Pope.
That is the Pope. She's like, you're just like the Pope. You're so fucking corny. As they finally get rid of the last bit of rats, though, Melly calls herself Melly the Fury. Amicia is like, oh, hell yeah, you're doing it. And Melly says, you don't know me. Shut the fuck up, virgin. Lucas immediately lights a fire in the castle as soon as they get in, and the 4 gather around, settling into their home for now. The next morning, Hugo wakes Amicia up from a bad dream. He's eager to show his sister the castle and what he's found. Downstairs, Lucas found a laboratory and stayed up all night rebuilding it so they could work on something for Hugo's macula. Upstairs, they find Melly, who pulls Amicia aside to chat real quick. Melly tells Amicia she's going to go out and she's going to go look for Arthur, and Amicia tells her not to leave without saying goodbye. Hugo runs off and finds a bunch of white butterflies, which he gleefully chases. Amicia comes up on Hugo, playing by a tree with his new butter friends. She looks at this great big tree, the symbol of her family, and she hangs up her De Rune family crest necklace.
I'm sorry, she's giving up the family necklace?
Yeah, she's just like, am I still like a princess or whatever? Probably not. I don't have family anymore.
Fuck.
She picks up Hugo and he hangs his family crest tree necklace up with hers as well. Hugo looks to Amicia and he apologizes for being sick. She holds him and reassures him that they'll find a cure for him. Lucas comes out to see them and looks down at Hugo as the veins under Hugo's skin begin to shine black through the pale.
Oh, gross.
Amicia tells Lucas that Hugo is getting worse. Lucas tells her it's the macula spreading through his blood. The books he's seen on macula say that there are several thresholds that the carrier experiences, and at each threshold, the carrier may be lost, and Hugo is nearing the first threshold. Lucas says Laurentius and Lady Beatrice were working on an elixir to slow down the process, and that their work was inspired by a forbidden book that's locked in the local university basement. Melly enters the conversation and is like, well, it's chaotic as fuck, so we could probably run into the university now and no one will notice. Like, they're all busy with the rats.
Oh my gosh, this is why she was studying fucking potions and shit.
Melly offers, like, hey, I'm going out that way anyway to go save Arthur, so if you want, I'll walk you into the city. We could do a little mission, have some fun. Amicia tells Hugo to stay here with Lucas and she'll be back soon. That book is the key to helping her brother, and she's going to do everything in her power to keep Hugo safe. As Amicia and Melly go to leave, Lucas tells Amicia there should be a path of roses in the university leading to the book, so I guess look out for flowers. Amicia says, roses, forbidden book, city ravaged by enemy soldiers. Got it. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Amicia and Melly go on their girls' trip into town, where Melly tells Amicia to always aim between the legs. That's the key to taking down a motherfucker.
It's true. It'll work almost every time.
Every time, baby girl. On the way in, they see townsfolk being evacuated due to the plague. Melly is horrified to see a thief that she used to run with dead in a wood pillory. Melly then just shakes it off and cracks open a door to the downtown area for Amicia to go get her book. Amicia looks at Melly and asks if they'll ever see each other again. And Melly says, I hope so. You owe me. That means you're not allowed to die. It's as kind and caring as Melly is capable of, so let's take it. Over their last moment together before Amicia's path splits off from her own, Melly tells Amicia, good luck. Amicia realizes this is actual true care from her first best friend in her life. And she says, you too.
She does not know how to interact with another person
Nah,
still.
this kid is so fucking sheltered. She doesn't know how to speak to anyone under 30.
Oh my god, that's crazy. And these are like street rat kids that have had to survive.
Fully street rat kids, yeah, who run with other street rat kids.
Yeah.
Amicia now has to navigate a rat-ravaged town that's simultaneously overrun by English soldiers to get a book that's been hidden away in a university basement in the restricted section. Quick in and out, 20-minute adventure.
Right.
There's tons of soldiers and tons more rats, and Amicia even out loud questions if this book even fucking exists, because this feels ridiculous. But nevertheless, she gets to the university. The building is completely trashed with books laying across the ground and everywhere. Amicia's like, all right, roses. How the fuck am I going to find roses? This place is garbage. And then she looks over a doorway and sees a banner of roses and goes, oh, damn. I see you. Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah, right. She immediately is like, okay, well, my problem was solved. There are several soldiers inside talking about Vitalis. Vitalis is the Grand Inquisitor and the leader of the Inquisition who are invading France.
I thought it was a hair growth pill.
It does sound like there's collagen in it.
Yeah.
Amicia knows this means he is the man after her brother and the man who had her family killed. Deep in the library, Amicia hears some of the Inquisition soldiers are also looking for the same alchemy book she's after. It at least means they haven't found it yet, so she still has a fighting chance. It also makes sense that they're after the same book, because if they're after Hugo because of his macula, and this book unlocks the secrets of the macula, of course they have the same goals and they need the same materials.
Secrets of the Macula sounds like it should have been the subtitle of this game.
It's giving Secrets of Nymph sequel, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's something there. Amicia watches as the English soldiers drag in a prisoner, a blacksmith, into the depths of the library. She's hiding and she watches as the prisoner is brought into a room with Vitalis himself. He's an old, decrepit man whose skin is starting to blister and break off of him. He's 1,000,000 years old and has thin, wispy lips and a dying man's breath. There's a door in the university that the Inquisition has been unable to open. The soldiers were able to find the blacksmith who built it, but he refused to help Vitalis and was tortured to death.
Oh, shit.
So, Vitalis had his men bring in the blacksmith's son. This is my favorite character. This is Roderick. He's about 18, and he's a beefy blue-collar brute boy with gigantic forearms and really cool guy hair.
This whole game is a very big departure from what we saw. You know, they say, like, Last of Us was a big inspiration, but that whole generation is, like, dads running around with kids.
Yeah, these are kids running around with kids.
Yeah, these are just kids running around with kids. And I love that we've now seen two sets of brother-sister couples that are not creepy and weird.
Yeah! They knew how to do this in a very appropriate way where nothing feels a little creepy.
They even managed to make one of the characters really horny and not make it creepy with the brother.
Yeah, if anything, she's like, he would break your heart and break you in half, bitch. Don't try. But you could try with me.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Let's experiment. And Roderick is the oldest of the teens we've met. Again, he's kind of nearing 18. He knew his father was taken by these people and killed. And these people have also been ravaging his hometown, and he is fucking furious, and he is not eager to help them. Vitalis tells Roderick to open the door, and Roderick tells Vitalis he and his father built that door to keep scum like you out.
Ooh.
Vitalis is on an emperor throne and is carried out by soldiers like he's in goddamn 300. Amicia looks down and follows the same path Roderick is being led, assuming that the soldiers are taking him to the door that has the book Amicia needs. He's being held by two big guards. Amicia follows and manages to drop a chandelier on one of the guards that was taking Roderick. Roderick takes the chaos opportunity to jump the other guard, and he pounds his French fists into this guard's fat face and says, I've been wanting to do this for 2 days.
Oh, hell yeah.
I fucking love Roderick.
Oh, immediately.
After beating a man to death with his bare hands, Roderick politely introduces himself to Amicia and thanks her for helping him get away.
Just imagine, like, bloody knuckles, like, hi, holding out his hand.
Hello, miss. Like, they're all French. She's like, ooh la la. Mademoiselle. Roderick takes her and they begin to escape in the depths of the university and get her into the basement. Amicia tells Roderick she needs this book, and Roderick is like, what the fuck is so special about this fucking book? My dad died for that book. Amicia tells him that her parents are dead too, which is like a really aggressive way to bond with someone you just met.
Yeah, right?
They make it to a secret library for forbidden books deep in the university. Amicia knows the book must be here, and Roderick points out an area with a bunch of rose banners. There she blows. This is a very Uncharted-esque puzzle for Amicia to solve as she gets to the book, which is just a love letter. I get it. Naughty Dog's great.
Yeah.
Amicia asks Roderick who commissioned the door to guard these books, and he says, I don't know, it was just a bunch of monks who didn't really talk. Which is so fun. Amicia actually does find the book, and she is completely amazed that she actually has it in her hands. The joy is cut short, though, by the entrance of several heavily armed guards and Vitalis himself. Vitalis focuses his beady, wet eyes on Amicia and says, "I know you, Amicia De Rune."
Fuck, she is famous without ever having left her fucking house.
I'm really glad you just interjected so I wouldn't have to do the voice anymore. "We've been watching your family, waiting for your brother to be activated by the macula. I've watched you grow up," which I never want to hear from a really creepy dude.
Right.
Amicia is defensive and immediately starts reaching for her sling. But Roderick, her new best friend, stops her in her tracks and goes, "Hey, we're outnumbered as fuck. Please don't start a fight with the Grand Inquisitioner's personal bodyguards with a fucking sling, you child."
Yeah, not right now.
Yeah, she doesn't know timing yet. Roderick is blue collar. He grew up like working class. Amicia is a princess. Like, he's like, you need to know what fights to walk away from, dipshit.
Right.
Roderick pulls Amicia down a small hallway and takes her through a secret exit from the basement. Roderick is like, "Well, you two know each other." And Amicia goes, "He destroyed my life." Roderick agrees, saying, "Well, I know what that's like." Amicia and Roderick run through the university, taking out soldiers in tandem. Roderick is able to stealthily take down fully armed soldiers, something that impresses Amicia a bit. She really hits him with a, "Damn, do you do that a lot?" after his first kill, which is like, okay, she's really starting to blossom as a woman.
Yeah.
Roderick says, "Well, I don't do that a lot, but I think I'm starting to like it." Which, all right, buddy.
Oh, the bloodlust is real.
Yeah, calm down. He might or may not have a Joker tattoo. Like,
Oh, he lives in a society.
he
so.
does. He's gone through trauma, okay? Part of the university has now caught on fire fully. Roderick takes advantage of the chaos and gets Amicia and the book out of the building safely. The university and all its knowledge and history burns up behind them as they run back to the safety of the Chateau d'Ombrage. The next morning, Amicia and Roderick finally make it back to the chateau and deliver the book to Lucas. Lucas immediately flips the book open and finds the writing he needs to help Hugo with his blood macula. Roderick, being also recently orphaned, moves in with Amicia, Hugo, and Lucas. Melly hasn't come back yet, but they all know she can handle herself, so no one's really worried in her absence. 3 weeks later, in December of 1348, Roderick has made himself useful, exploring the castle and keeping fires running. Amicia has been doing target practice with her sling, and Lucas has been working on potions and other alchemy endeavors to help Hugo manage his macula. Unfortunately, Lucas has not seen any positive improvements on Hugo's end, and in fact, he's getting worse. Lucas says he needs a proper lab to get shit done, and Amicia offers her mother's lab from her old homestead. They make some loose plans to go back to Amicia's home when Roderick calls out saying, "Hey, those weird twins are back."
Oh, hell yeah.
He hasn't met them, so he's like, "I'm assuming these are your friends."
Yeah.
Amicia and Lucas run out and are reunited with Melly and Arthur. Melly finally rescued Arthur, who was being held hostage and tortured for being affiliated with Hugo De Rune.
That's so fascinating that adventure happens completely off screen.
Yeah, and it's a 3-week adventure that Melly's on.
Oh my gosh. You could almost do a spin-off of her.
I would love a DLC of, like, get Arthur back.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome. Melly and Arthur tell Amicia that when Arthur was imprisoned, he saw Lady Beatrice de Rune being held in the same prison. Their dead mother.
Fuck. Wait. How?
Well, we didn't see her get stabbed. She got stabbed off screen.
No, we saw the blood though.
Yeah, she was there with one of her house people.
Well, shit.
Looks like the house person got stabbed and she stepped out of the way.
Okay, well, now we gotta go rescue mom.
Yeah.
Not an orphan anymore. We can't bond over that.
The privileged kids still get to keep one of their parents? Are you fucking kidding me?
Of course, the fucking Nepo baby gets to keep Nepoing about.
Arthur does tell them that Lady Beatrice was very important to Vitalis, the Grand Inquisitor, probably why she wasn't killed on sight. He also tells them that she is being tortured by Vitalis personally, and Vitalis spends a lot of time questioning, quote-unquote, Lady Beatrice, which really sucks. Amicia makes the teens promise not to let Hugo know, because she doesn't want him to hold out hope if they're just going to end up killing her mom anyway.
Yeah.
She doesn't want Hugo to call out for his mother and never get to see her again and have to mourn her twice. She just wants to protect him.
Oh my God, doing the full, like, don't give me hope.
Fully. Just then, Hugo's eyes are open, and from the next room, he has overheard all of this. But then he starts shaking and screaming and has a really violent macula attackula. They all rush to his side, and Amicia and Lucas set off for Amicia's homestead immediately. They have to figure this out, like, right now.
Right.
Amicia and Lucas arrive at Castle De Rune, and it takes Amicia back. She hasn't been home in like a month, and she is heartbroken at how destroyed everything is. It's dark, and the night is setting in, which means the rats are out. In addition to the rats, there are still a few English Inquisition guards still on site, guarding in case any of the De Rune children came back home. While going full sneaky sneaks, Lucas and Amicia see something wild, and it's the first time we see this in the game. It is a full tornado of rats.
I'm sorry. A tornado of rats.
So there's this big pit of rats, and the rats are all moving around like a wave pool, forming a full tornado, just all of their ever-moving bodies layered on top of each other with their beady little eyes shining through.
They were like, we'll give you our Rat King. Because, like, holy shit.
Our Rat King is the weather.
Oh my God.
I hate it. This fully made me realize that I'm not into rats. Like, the way their beady little eyes shone in the light, their little tiny clicky-clacky claws, the way their bodies fuse together over time, it's fucking terrible.
I've seen all sorts of tornadoes depicted in media. I've seen dirt tornadoes, wind, just normal, fucking lightning. I've seen fire tornadoes. A rat tornado.
I love that you named a bunch of weather and then fire.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fucking rat tornado. And like, also as a note, this perhaps speaks to the effective audio team and how well they did this, but the Foley on this and all the rats is disgusting. Their little squeaks and like the way the sound is layered, so you know there are hundreds of rats at a time. It fully fills the audio in so much that even if you close your eyes, you still feel completely surrounded by rats. It is fucking disgusting. There are thousands of them on screen at a time, and I just hate them, and I think they're really gross, and I feel Amicia in her anger. Like, why are there so many?
Genuinely, why are there so many? Fuck.
The plague.
That they are fucking a tornado now.
They're a tornado, and I hate it. Just...
All right, rat tornadoes now.
Rat tornado. Cool, we got rat tornadoes. So just like everything, her home being destroyed, being reminded of the murders of everyone she's ever loved, and now the rat tornado, it all gets to Amicia.
Yeah, I don't fucking blame her. That would get to me.
She's completely just furious and ruthless as she manages through her homestead to get to her mother's lab with Lucas. Lucas and Amicia come up on a fatally injured man laying there. He's an English soldier. He's almost dead. He's like, please, for the love of fuck, like, help me. And she's like, absolutely not. Amicia sicks a bunch of rats on him.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, that's so awesome.
It's really great because she's like, you motherfucker tried to kill all of me. You might be I don't know who did it, but a bunch of people killed a bunch of people. It's probably you. Fuck you. And he's completely incapable of defending himself. And he uses his dying breath to beg for mercy while Amicia watches on.
She's like, see, I like killing too.
She screams at these rats to get off her lawn while she sends a caravan of light barreling down pathways. She's pissed. She doesn't give a fuck. She is in her revenge era.
Hell yeah.
Lucas, again, level-headed sweet angel Lucas, is like, hey, are you good?
Nope.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not. I'm really fucking angry. Upon arriving at the house itself, the walls have rotted with rats. The walls themselves are black and molding and have growths all over them from rats multiplying and infecting the whole home, floor to ceiling with disease and fusing together and sinking into the walls.
Oh.
These mountains of rats have gnawed at the corpses in the house and moved them around in the month since Amicia's been home so much that the skeletons are permanently transfixed into walls.
Jesus.
It's so bad.
Like, the progression.
Yeah. Amicia comes up on a man whose body lay cinematically untouched. As she gets closer, she realizes it's her father. She looks at him and moves towards him before the rats collapse like a wave over what's left of the great knight Robert De Rune. Amicia wishes him peace as she and Lucas trudge on.
Was he like bathed in light so they never touched him or something?
A little, yeah. Like,
Okay.
I mean, like he wouldn't have been, but like, you know what I mean?
It's just enough.
It's cinematic. Amicia brings Lucas to Hugo's room, and shockingly, it is completely untouched. Unlike the rest of the castle, Hugo's room has no rot, no rats. It's just a little dusty. Amicia out loud says, Lucas, why would his room be untouched? What would keep the rats from this space? That's so fucking weird. Lucas kind of blows her off because he's like, I am on a mission to get in, do science, and get out, baby girl. We have a limited time span.
Yeah.
He can't find what he's looking for in this area, and he asks if Amicia's mother had a lab or like any areas that she worked on stuff with, and Amicia just goes, she didn't tell me anything! But as she unpacks trauma at her friend.
I was going to say, deal with your mommy issues.
Yeah.
We good?
She's kind of trauma dumping on Lucas in a way we haven't seen her do with anyone else. And again, Lucas thankfully is the most level-headed person in this game. So he's like, I understand you're in pain.
Yeah.
I need you to understand that there's a rat tornado outside.
The rat tornado.
And I need you to get your shit together.
Right.
So they kind of chat and they were like, oh, wait, there's an area that my mom said to never go to. That's probably her secret lab. And he's like, that was great critical thinking. I think you did a great job. I understand this is rough. Where are we going?
See, we took a few deep breaths.
Yeah. Lucas would be great, like a fantastic mediator. He's wonderful.
I was going to say therapist.
Yeah, but he wanted to do science instead. And he's like, all right, so where is it? And Amicia goes, well, it's in the Roman bathhouses. And Lucas is reminded how different they grew up.
Roman bathhouses.
Amicia's family had Roman bathhouse money.
Holy shit. What was Dad up to?
He's a knight.
He's having night parties.
He's doing night shit. So Lucas is like, all right, that's perfect. I don't know where the Roman bathhouses would be in a compound like this because I grew up in a barn. Please lead the way.
I wasn't allowed in those parts of the house.
You guys had baths? You had whole houses for your baths?
I was in the servant quarters when I was in places like this.
Yeah. The path to Amicia's mother's secret laboratory is paved with rot and rat tornadoes. But nevertheless, Amicia and Lucas move forward. Deep in the on-campus Roman bathhouse, Lucas and Amicia find a huge tiled mosaic that depicts a great sickness falling upon the people. Lucas takes one look at this and says, that's a Roman fresco of Justinian's plague, a huge massacre of the people in the 6th century. And Amicia confirms, saying, oh, well, you know, this house was built by a Roman governor in the 6th century. Also, you're a genius.
What the shit?
Yeah, so Lucas also knows art history.
600s.
Yeah, and for him to also just be like, well, that's a fresco. Like, no one's been here to clean in a month, dude.
I'm sorry, is your nickname Wikipedia?
A little bit. That wasn't real yet. He was just encyclopedia.
Yeah.
The plague of Justinian is actually a real plague that happened in our world that occurred in 541 to 549. Some historians believe the first plague pandemic was one of the deadliest pandemics in history, resulting in the deaths of an estimated 15 to 100 million people during 2 centuries of recurrence.
There were that many people to kill?
At the time.
That's just fucking everybody.
Yeah, there was everyone, yeah. That's why the Romans ended up out fucking here, because they're like, well, there's a bunch of people dying out there.
Holy fuck.
Now, none of this is by accident, of course, as we know by the macula blood plague flowing generationally in certain bloodlines. I kind of love that they used real plagues to tie into the generational bloodline of it, like talking about this crazy Roman one with Justinian, and then getting into like the bubonic plague with the current generation of kids, because it does open the door to plague tale COVID.
God, I hope not.
And the idea of like, you know, in The Last of Us, when it opens, you get that newscast talking about the outbreak.
I'm just also thinking of the fact that like they're talking about how these were plandemics in the fucking past and shit like that. Like it's people were at fault for the other ones. So it's like, no, let's not do one about COVID where people were planning the whole fucking thing.
Well, as we know in the historical documents, it was Randy Marsh.
That's right.
And he is the carrier of the macula now.
He is a descendant of that bloodline.
Yes.
God, he would be.
Oh my God, I hate that he would be, though. I am Lord, I bring death, la la la. Amicia and Lucas find Lady Beatrice's secret laboratory beneath the bathhouse, which is where the Romans would go just to sweat. I am so jealous.
Yeah, just to sweat. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, that's what the Romans do in the enclosed area naked.
Yeah.
Historically. Once they find Lady Beatrice's laboratory, Lucas is blown away. Obviously, these rich people have all top-tier alchemy shit, and there's a ton of space to work. Lucas spots some ancient paintings of what looks like the same macula affliction as Hugo, but Amicia says these paintings are hundreds of years old. Lucas is like, yeah, Amicia, that's right. This isn't the first time this has happened. We just talked about this in front of the fucking fresco.
Right.
I need you to be a little smarter. Lucas looks over Lady Beatrice's notes and thinks he has a good shot at completing her work to help Hugo. Unfortunately, here come the rats.
Oh.
Amicia protects Lucas as he works and keeps the rat tornadoes at bay, because now we're getting a lot of rat tornadoes and they're going to be a lot more common going forward.
Why are they so fucking common?
And it's like waves of them. Amicia has to shoot them down, aim lights around. It's fun, and it's also terrifying, and the sound is so creepy, I was scared to play this with headphones.
Yeah, how do you do a fucking sound effect of a rat tornado? You know what? I don't want to know.
I can show you clips.
No, I'm good.
It kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie. The rats are raging, and Amicia runs out of ammo. And as she does, Lucas finishes the macula potion, thank God. Interestingly, the moment the potion is fully mixed, the layered sounds of squeaking grind to a halt, and all the rats stop and stare.
Oh.
They move out of the way of Amicia and Lucas as they walk through, unharmed.
Well, that's convenient.
It works. It's great. Lucas says the potion is tied to the macula, and the macula is tied to the rats, and the rats must sense the potion or know it or have reverence for what we're doing. So that's just how that works now.
The rats have reverence.
Oh yeah, they're plague rats. Back at the castle, Roderick and Arthur spot Amicia and Lucas returning overnight. Amicia is so proud to say, "We have the elixir!" Roderick is extra proud of Lucas and gives him a beefy pat on the back. And again, Roderick about twice as big as Lucas, so Lucas kind of does a, shit, I got slapped real hard on the back thing, you know? Because again, Lucas, tiny science boy, Roderick is like a several generations in blacksmith.
Yeah, I've been the little guy on the receiving end of those pats on the back before.
It's a little humbling.
Yeah.
Inside, Hugo is sitting by the fire. His veins are fully black, coursing through his pale skin. Amicia shows Hugo the elixir they made and sends it right down his throat. Hugo swallows and asks, "Am I cured now?" Then, Hugo looks up at Amicia and asks, "Okay, will we ever see Mommy again?" Amicia immediately says no, but she does reassure him that she is not in pain, and everything's okay. And when he wakes up tomorrow, he'll feel a lot better. Amicia curls up next to her brother to watch over him and falls asleep. The next morning, Amicia wakes up to Melly screaming, "Amicia! You'll never believe!" Roderick beat Arthur at sling.
Wait, what?
They're teens, you know.
That's what she was screaming about?
She's screaming at the top of her lungs.
Oh my God.
Amicia's like, "I was asleep. Why are you screaming? Wait, where's my brother?" And she starts to look around and realizes Hugo isn't there. All the teens start looking for Hugo, and Amicia runs out to the tree, the family tree. She sees only her family De Rune necklace hanging.
Oh.
Knowing now, Hugo took his and ran off.
Well, yeah, the family is still there.
Amicia runs into the nearby woods screaming for Hugo when she falls down a ditch and passes out, and the screen blacks out.
Oh, that is not a good thing to do.
Amicia enters a dark dream world in the woods as she runs looking for Hugo. The woods turn into a village. The village leads to Claire V's home, the first home to show her comfort since her parents' death. Claire V reminds Amicia to be careful looking for Hugo, because children don't just run away. Amicia enters a doorway and sees Laurentius's farm, lined with dead pigs to keep the rats at bay. Laurentius here isn't sick. He's standing and is well enough to yell at Amicia for losing Hugo and not keeping him safe. She runs off to find Hugo and ends up back at the De Rune home. She comes face to face with her mother, who tells Amicia that Hugo doesn't need Amicia anymore. Amicia finally comes up on Hugo, who screams, "Why didn't you tell me Mummy is still alive? Why didn't you tell me? You're jealous of me." Then Hugo pushes her over, and Amicia passes out, and the screen blacks out. Amicia wakes up in the ditch and swears she can hear Hugo calling for her. She runs and finds Hugo for real in a cage, being held hostage by 2 English guards. She kills them immediately and she lets Hugo out of the cage. She does not care about, like, killing people anymore. She's like, I've killed many men.
Yeah, she had a moment with her first kill after that. She's like, all right.
Like, she's a virgin, but she has a body count, you know? Hugo holds Amicia and tells her that he thought he heard Mummy, so he left to find her. Amicia continues to tell Hugo Mummy is dead, but she isn't in pain, and she isn't coming back, and we're orphans now, so this is our life. We have to accept it. And Hugo goes, damn, that sucks.
Like, she is so kind of wanting to be an orphan, I feel.
Oh, all her friends are orphans.
Yeah, right? I guess so. She wants to just fit in with the crowd.
Amicia grabs Hugo's hand, and they run back to the chateau. On the way, Hugo swears he heard Mummy's voice, and he wriggles out of Amicia's grip to chase it. Hugo screams, Mummy, where are you? Hugo sprints faster and faster and goes down into a tunnel of rat rot. Amicia begs Hugo to stop and come back, please, but he sprints faster and faster. The rat rot begins to reveal it's built on top of the bodies that have died at the hands of the plague. And then those bodies become those that have died at the hands of Amicia.
Ugh.
From the rat-rotted tunnel, the voices of men Amicia has killed along the way ring out to haunt her. This nightmare continues, and Amicia is faced with the mountains of bodies she has killed to protect her brother. They reach out to her, calling to her, and she sobs, saying she'll kill them all again to keep Hugo safe.
Hell yes, she will.
The end of the tunnel blackens with rats as Amicia runs straight through them. Amicia eventually emerges in an ocean of rats and sees Lord Nicholas taking Hugo away, telling Hugo he can see his mother if he goes with Lord Nicholas. Hugo agrees, and as they leave, Amicia screams and reaches out for her baby brother one last time before passing out and blacking out again. Back in town, Hugo is in a large cathedral under the watchful eye of the English Inquisition working for Vitalis, the Grand Inquisitor. Hugo speaks to an alchemist of the Grand Inquisitor who takes some of his blood. Hugo asks to see his mother now, but the alchemist says that's up to the Grand Inquisitor. Hugo's, well, God damn it, I miss my fucking mommy. At Hugo's feet, a single rat runs by into an opened cupboard that connects into the next room. Hugo, being 5 years old and sickly, is incredibly small and can go really sneaky sneaks as he navigates a church looking for his mummy. The church is a heavily trafficked building with lots of soldiers, alchemists, and general laborers working on some potions for Vitalis. Over the course of Hugo trying to find his mummy, he overhears some people talking about how Vitalis has been injecting himself with a compound that is used by alchemists to attract the rats, and how Hugo's blood can help balance the macula.
What in the hell?
Hugo knows fuck all because he's a tiny child, so this means nothing to him.
It hardly means anything to me.
Well, but as a player, it is interesting to hear Vitalis has been trying to get macula into his own blood, believing he can control rats with it.
Yeah, that's insanity.
You're like, that's not how blood works.
Right.
You're gonna get diseases. You're not gonna get rat powers, my guy.
Doesn't turn you into ratmen.
Now you're thinking of portals. Along the way, Hugo sometimes has a small macula attacula and gets sharp migraines. Lil Hugo has to stop here and there to manage his pain and hold his head. And I feel you, migraines are the fucking worst.
Just need some ginger ale.
Apparently. Hugo overhears how one monk is reading up on the past plagues and one child macula carrier ascended during the Justinian plague. Another monk says maybe they're a relative of Hugo De Rune. And Hugo, out loud to himself, says, they're talking about me. Again, he's 5, but dude, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Another monk says that once Vitalis ascends and reaches the full power of the macula, he'll banish the rats and be granted immense political power for saving the world. Again, nothing to Hugo. We accept this as, oh no, he's trying to weaponize the plague.
Right.
If this works. Again, he's injecting himself with weird rat shit into his veins.
This guy's insane.
Hugo watches on as an archbishop of Pope Clement VI arrives to talk to Vitalis. The Archbishop keeps reminding Vitalis that he's worked for the Pope and is essentially like, hey, what the fuck are you guys up to over here? We're all curious. Like, no one's checked in with us. You guys are just kind of going off grid. Are you good?
This is a rogue team?
It's kind of rogue, yeah.
God.
The Pope is sending people to check up on him because he's not getting the reports back.
Right.
And he's like, I'm hearing pretty fucked up shit coming out of France. What did you guys do?
Yeah, I don't think they were going to involve the Pope in him, like, taking over the world.
We don't call the Pope. He's busy fighting cats or something.
Right.
I know this is a different Pope. Still.
You would hope.
Vitalis is interrupted with a vial of Hugo De Rune's blood, ready for injection. Vitalis confirms his supervillain plan is to make himself a carrier of the macula and unlock this connection to the rats. The Archbishop is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You were supposed to read stories to the kids in church on Sunday. This is fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do an Easter service, and now you think you can control rats? This is not what the Pope intended in last month's fucking, you guys should empower your church squad shit. What are you doing?
I don't know. I heard about a guy over in Ireland who controlled snakes, so I wanted to control the fucking rats.
And that dude got sainthood, okay?
Right.
The Archbishop is like, you are injecting stolen child blood into your body. You are fucking crazy. And you know what? I'm going to take my power. You are officially excommunicado, John Wick.
Oh no, they actually excommunicated the guy though?
Yeah.
That's a big deal back then.
Yeah.
That's a huge fucking deal.
It really is. And Vitalis kind of doesn't give a shit. He is like, all right. He shakes his little bootleg blood transfusion as he addresses the Archbishop. And he's like, well, one can excommunicate a man, Archbishop, but not a saint. And now I have a list of 5 saints that were excommunicated. Joan of Arc, Saint Chrysostom, Leo I, Althanius, and Columba. These are all saints who were excommunicated but still have sainthood.
Wow, well, good for them.
Thank you. No, good for me. I did a lot of research.
You did. You're not Catholic. You never were.
Nope. My dad was, so that doesn't make me genetically Catholic. That's not a thing. I'm just Irish.
No, it's not like Jewish.
So, no, I'm just half Irish and have heard horror stories about growing up in Catholic church from my father, which I think is why he wanted nothing to do with Catholicism raising me.
And your husband.
Also you,
yeah.
Yes. The Archbishop leaves saying, your Inquisition is over. And because he's a dog-ass bitch who has to have the last word, Vitalis says, meaning a new era commences. One where puppets such as yourself will kneel and beg me to save them.
Oh, God.
Which is such a dumbass thing to yell. Because he's like, you are fired. Your shit is over. And he goes, when one door closes, a window opens. Like,
well, calling other people puppets is basically like calling people the NPC of that day.
Literally NPCs.
Yeah.
The Archbishop leaves and is replaced by Lord Nicholas. Lord Nicholas reports that they have Hugo De Rune. Vitalis says, okay, good. Go see if Lady Beatrice has regained consciousness. Hugo goes, Lady Beatrice is my mummy. I will follow him now.
Oh, no.
Hugo sneaks along with Lord Nicholas back to his mummy's cage. Once he gets a clear path, Hugo runs to be reunited with his mummy. She is completely emaciated, laying on the ground of a dirty cell when Hugo comes up and says, hello, mummy. Amicia said you were dead, but you're not.
Immediately tattling on your sibling as the first thing you do when you see your parent after a long time is fucking dead on.
Really?
Oh my God, that is amazing.
I yelled at the screen when he did this. I was like, you little fucking snitch.
Yep, that is such younger sibling behavior. That's incredible.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good writing, guys. Well done, Asobo. Bewildered beyond belief, Lady Beatrice stands up and rushes to him, probably just to verify if she's having a hallucination or not from, like, being beaten and shit.
Right.
She tells Hugo, you have to go because you cannot be found here. This is bad. Then she notices Hugo is bleeding and asks if they took his blood. Lady Beatrice panics knowing what Vitalis is doing and then agrees to leave once Hugo gets the keys to her cell. Hugo goes on a fun sneaky sneak mission that at sometimes does feel more neutered than the MJ and Spider-Man missions, But at least it's pretty quick, and it's certainly not as arduous.
And you are in control of him?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's also kind of nice because he's so much shorter than Amicia, your entire worldview is lowered. Kind of like when you play Torbjorn in Overwatch and you're like a full 2 inches lower than everyone else. Hugo returns with the key, and Lady Beatrice is actually really impressed. Like, oh, I thought you were kind of useless because I've babied you your entire life. But good job, little buddy. Hugo's hard work is rewarded with a big mom hug.
Oh.
Hugo tells his mummy that he can hear something asking to join in his head. Lady Beatrice goes, ah, yes, the first threshold. She tells Hugo to harness the voice that's been giving him migraines and guides him into embracing this voice and fully joining them, whoever they are. As Hugo agrees and joins the voice in his head, he becomes able to control the rats.
What? How now this is his power?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
It sounds like he should have had that the whole time.
Yeah, but he had a migraine.
Oh. Once that's gone, it's cool. Rat time.
It's rat time. Hugo reaches out and with his mind is able to gather all the rats from that area in one place and control where they go. Lady Beatrice holds Hugo around the shoulders to guide him as Hugo dispels the rats around Lady Beatrice's cage. Lady Beatrice and Hugo work together to move the rats, sticking them after soldiers or simply moving them out of the way so they can sneak through safely. Hugo asks if the rat power is his disease, and Lady Beatrice says, hey, it's a gift. We just have to be careful with it because with great power comes great rat-sponsibility.
Nice.
Hugo asks, why do I have this power? Amicia doesn't have this power. Lady Beatrice says, it's not up to you. It's up to your blood. I can't tell you why your sister doesn't have magical rat powers, buddy.
Oh no, one of you's not related to the other.
Which is sad because their dad was so fucking hot. I would hop on that shit and make one. God damn.
Well, what do you think they were doing in that fucking bathhouse? Huh? Fucking.
There it is. On the way out, Lady Beatrice and Hugo get caught. They're brought directly to Vitalis, and Lady Beatrice demands that he's taken what he wants, so he should let them go now. You got my kid's blood. We're good. Vitalis says, absolutely not. Your son picked the macula, and it's not done with him, so neither am I. And she's like, again, honey, it's not your fault. This is just your blood. It's okay. Lord Nicholas is there, and he encourages Vitalis to finish this, a.k.a., please let me kill this woman and her child. Vitalis says, no, we are not going to kill the woman and her child. Calm the fuck down.
First reasonable thing he said.
Truly, he's been screaming at the Archbishop all afternoon. And then he's like, what if we don't murder people in this moment specifically?
For now.
For now. Then Vitalis addresses Hugo directly, telling Hugo they're bound by blood, and now their family grows larger. You know, because I injected your blood loosely into my stream, we are brothers now.
That's not how family works.
Nope. Lady Beatrice, clearly disgusted by this, begs Vitalis to let Hugo leave at least. Vitalis says, no. Lady Beatrice calls Vitalis a monster, and Vitalis is like, bitch, you have no idea. Then Vitalis unleashes a river of rats down on Hugo and Lady Beatrice.
River.
The rats pile on top of each other in small hills that surround Beatrice and Hugo. Wave by wave by wave, Vitalis sends soldiers down with one instruction. Kill her. One by one, soldiers descend, and Hugo sends rats to eat them all up before they can reach his mummy. Lady Beatrice, malnourished and physically abused for a month, is on her knees, exhausted. Hugo falls to his knees, exhausted from moving the rats around, too.
Okay, so that does tucker him out.
Yeah, he's little, he's 5, he doesn't really get it, but yeah, it does physically exhaust him to move the rats around. It's not on a cooldown, necessarily,
right.
But characteristically, he's just so little. Vitalis says, okay, he did good, but he's not hitting the next threshold yet. Lady Beatrice hears Vitalis say this and says, oh shit, it's Amicia.
Oh.
For a macula holder to ascend to the next threshold, for their powers to grow, there must be a triggered event, and that is usually loss. Vitalis was kind of hoping that if he got the mom killed, that Hugo's powers would really kick up a notch. But Hugo was so brave under the assault of rats on himself and his mother, it was not enough to trigger the next threshold like Vitalis wanted. Lady Beatrice realizes this, and she's like, well, what's one thing that would stress Hugo out enough to ascend? The death of Amicia. Now my other kid's in trouble.
Oh, God.
The one I don't even fucking like.
That mom really did not care for this girl.
She has golden child syndrome with Hugo, and...
Fully. I mean, granted, he's got special blood, so...
Yeah.
Kind of is the chosen one.
Yeah, but Amicia's not a bad kid.
No.
She's actually very sweet, she's caring, and she's very driven. She's always like, I want to get shit done, I want to be a badass knight, look at my sling, and her mom's like, I could not give two shits about you, my darling.
But what about Hugo?
Yeah. Think of your 5-year-old brother. And she's like, I do every day because I've never seen you, Mom. Fuck you. Vitalis says Hugo is close and they have other pawns they can play. And Lady Beatrice is swept away as an exhausted Hugo crumbles to the ground. Vitalis says he will take care of Hugo and makes sure he will ascend in his macula powers. Hugo passes out and the screen blacks out. Amicia wakes up suddenly, screaming for Hugo, back in the Chateau d'Ombrage. She's surrounded by Melly and Lucas. Lucas tells Amicia that she's been gone for 3 days and almost died before Melly and Arthur tracked her down. Amicia knows she lost Hugo and simply tells her friends to leave her alone. We time jump a month to January of 1349.
Holy shit.
Amicia looks out at the snow and figures they need to light up the fires soon. Lucas is trying to open a case that's been frozen over now that the winter has gotten particularly bad. Amicia heads out to see Roderick and finds a flower. She thinks of Hugo and places it in her hair, remembering how he'd always pick the pretty ones out for her. Outside, Melly and Arthur are fighting over staying at the castle or leaving the castle. Arthur wants to go, but Melly has gotten a little comfortable at the chateau. Melly calls Arthur a pain in the ass and goes to help Lucas open the frozen over case. Arthur spits at Melly, which also feels so aggressively sibling. As she leaves, Arthur spits at Melly, which feels so aggressively sibling, and then goes to help Amicia light all the rat fires. Amicia tells Arthur she's been feeling so old lately. She's almost 16 and a half. He tells her she looks pretty good for an old person. These two might be having a moment right now, but Roderick starts screaming at the top of his lungs that he hates machinery and fully kills the vibe. I love Roderick so much. They're really like, oh, well, you don't look so bad. And Roderick is in the background going, fuck this shit. Ah!
And it's 1300s machinery. It's not complex shit.
No. And he's a blacksmith by trade generationally, so he knows how everything works.
Right.
Like, come on, buddy. Roderick is trying to fix some of the castle's moving fire pits and ends up nearly kicking the machinery in. Because he's like, if it ain't fixed, break it kind of guy. We love Roderick. And he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to go hit the showers. Stay fresh, cheese bags. He's perfect. Just as Amicia and Arthur almost get all the lights up, the rats start coming in waves. They crash up on the wall like the ocean splashing on the rocks. Arthur and Amicia work together to get through the onslaught of rats and back to the safety of the chateau. Melly and Roderick stand from safety and watch in horror as their friends get trapped by the rats. The rats here look like an anthill descending on an unattended spring picnic. They are absolutely everywhere and crawl on top of each other in layers to accommodate for their sheer density. The rat tornadoes blow through the battle arena as Amicia and Arthur navigate the ever-changing landscape of rats together. Arthur has never seen the rats this bad, and neither has Amicia. And Amicia's like, it's so bad it almost feels like they're trying to attack us. Like, these rats feel fucking personal.
Vindictive.
Yeah. And she's like, why now? It's cold. Leave me alone. Why is this happening? Arthur and Amicia rejoin the others, Roderick, Melly, and Lucas, inside. They are all bewildered by this ridiculous wave of rats. No one's ever seen it this bad, and this castle was said to be rat-resistant. Laurentius said we would always be safe here. Just as they're all screaming and trying to scramble to figure out what to do, the door flings open. A single layer of rats pour inside and surround the feet of Hugo De Rune and Lord Nicholas as they enter the castle.
Oh, what the shit?
Roderick, Melly, Arthur, and Lucas see this and immediately take off sprinting. Amicia stands alone, looking at her brother, paralyzed at the sight of him. Roderick wraps his beefy hand around her wrist and drags Amicia away before blocking the door behind him. Roderick leads the teens out of the castle with Amicia begging them to let her talk to her brother. Lord Nicholas manages to get the drop on Amicia and Arthur and punches the shit out of both of them, knocking Amicia and Arthur out completely.
Jesus.
Amicia wakes up, being dragged by Lord Nicholas and dropped at Hugo's feet. Lord Nicholas tells Hugo, "Get to work. Kill her, or I will kill your mother in front of you."
What the shit? That's basically saying, do one thing that's the exact same as the other.
Someone's gonna die. You better figure it out.
She's been a mother figure to you, or your actual mother.
Amicia looks at Hugo and just says, "I'm your sister." Hugo approaches Amicia slowly as Amicia begs Hugo that she's been waiting for him and she's been looking for him and please, please, please. Hugo says nothing as Lord Nicholas pushes Hugo to kill Amicia to unlock his powers and ascend to the next phase of Macula. Lord Nicholas is impatient, and as Hugo says nothing, Lord Nicholas is like, "Fuck this, I got it," and starts intimidating Amicia, forcing her to walk backwards and backwards. Amicia cries out to Hugo, but Lord Nicholas pushes her closer to the rats so that the rats will eat her.
Oh, shit.
Amicia stumbles and is at the end of Lord Nicholas's sword when, from above, Arthur releases a flat of stones that all land on Lord Nicholas.
Shit, yeah, Arthur.
Arthur jumps down and is like, "We got the bastard! Let's do this!" Amicia and Arthur look over to see Hugo, surrounded by rats circling him. Arthur goes to make sure Lord Nicholas is dead because he knows he's in a video game and is like, "Well, I'm not going to let anyone die off screen. Let's make sure this is good."
Right.
And give Amicia time to talk to Hugo also, because he doesn't want to be involved in this. Amicia approaches carefully and tells Hugo, "Hey, Lord Nicholas is dead. No one can hurt you now." Hugo makes the rat's circle swell and get bigger and yells at Amicia for lying to him. Amicia says she just wanted to protect him, but Hugo, enraged, covers Amicia in a rat tornado.
Oh my god, no.
The rat tornado grows above her and around her and becomes so thick that she can't be seen through it. Then, as the rat tornado hits his peak, the rat tornado falls apart and the rats rejoin the crowd, as Amicia is shown holding Hugo deeply in her arms.
Oh.
The siblings, now reunited, embrace. Arthur watches on, smiling at seeing the two back together. And the love between siblings makes Hugo's heart grow and triggers him into the next threshold.
Oh. So it doesn't even have to be like a negative thing. It can be a positive thing.
Power of love. Then, Lord Nicholas sinks his sword directly through Arthur, killing the young boy.
Fuck. No.
I hated this.
No, that's some Rufio shit.
I hated this so much, and he specifically was like, "I'm gonna make sure he's dead. Be right back." And he wasn't.
Oh, fuck. Not a fan favorite. That sucks.
Arthur doesn't get a lot of screen time, but he's so fucking cool that you're like, oh, god damn it.
Shit. Well, sorry, Arthur.
Amicia and Hugo run hand in hand in the Lord Nicholas boss battle, which I'm going to say is absolutely the hardest one of the game, or at least the hardest one for me. I had so much fucking trouble with this one. This one fucking sucked.
Oh.
Because of his heavy armor, Lord Nicholas can get swarmed by rats and not die. He can also use his sword as a flint to make a fire sword, rendering the rats fully useless around him because of the light of the fire.
Right. Holy shit.
It's a whole ass thing to unlight his sword and hit him with rats and also hide from him because he's a one-shot wonder and you immediately die if he gets you, which fucking sucks.
Well, yeah, it's a giant flaming sword.
Versus teenage girl and 5-year-old boy. Yeah.
Flinging rocks at you.
She's really just throwing rocks at him, being like, "I got this." And being like, "Hey, baby brother, please send the rats out."
Literally David versus Goliath.
Yeah, but what's interesting here is that now that they're reunited and Hugo has better power over his rats, within Amicia's weapon wheel, she can wield the rats and say, "Hugo, send the rats here."
Nice.
Which is really cool. So you can move between your sling to set things on fire or put out fires or whatever else to saying, "Hey, baby Hugo, put rats over here." So you take his power that you played him solo and blend it in, which feels very natural and gives you a really cool, comprehensive battle set.
That makes Hugo way more dynamic than any sidekick we've really had so far then.
Ellie did not do this shit in The Last of Us.
No, I would say Ellie never did. Elizabeth never did. Even Atreus. I mean, yeah, he fought by your side, but not in this way.
Yeah, and like Elizabeth could give you potions and shit like that. So it's more of like it helps you recharge things, but the fact that you can personally wield the powers of Hugo as the player, but through Amicia is really cool.
That is really cool, yeah.
Also, this boss battle is in a really small arena with very limited resources, and it's kind of a crafting heavy system to be able to use your full scope of weapon wheel. So it's wild. I got my ass kicked. This sucked.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. I played this for a minute, put it down, and said, not today. It's not happening today. Had to do it another day. By the end of the boss battle, Lord Nicholas is on fire from the waist up on a rampage to kill 2 small children. Like a real man. Eventually, Hugo and Amicia work together to get Lord Nicholas finally torn apart and eaten by rats now that Hugo has better control of his powers in the Threshold. I fucking hate Lord Nicholas.
Fuck Lord Nicholas.
All my homies hate Lord Nicholas. Once Lord Nicholas is for sure dead and it's safe, Roderick, Melly, and Lucas come out. Melly is immediately on a rampage, screaming that she'll kill every single one of the Inquisition because she lost her brother.
Hell yeah.
She makes her Kill Bill ass list and she is inconsolable. They got her brother, Roderick's dad, Amicia and Hugo's father. Everyone is fucking dead. They're going to kill us all if they keep going. Melly says she's going to find and she's going to kill every last one of them.
Hell yeah, she is. And I want to go on that adventure with her.
She should be the protagonist,
right?
To be real. Amicia is like, you're goddamn right, we're going. Roderick says, what, the 5 of us against the entire army?
Goddamn right.
Yeah, Amicia says, yeah. The 5 children put their arms in a circle and rally to the death. Let's fucking go.
They also control the rats.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
It's not really a numbers game when one of you is really OP.
Right.
The 5 children enter the outskirts of the city. Melly is reckless and ready for blood and runs off, bringing Lucas with her. Roderick, Amicia, and Hugo end up separated from the 2 and blocked off by soldiers. Roderick watches on and goes, well, I hope they make it. Good luck. Roderick takes great pleasure in doing muscle-bound drop-down takedowns of soldiers on their way into the city. The path becomes a best-of sequence of navigation where Hugo controls the rats both offensively and defensively. Amicia sneaky snipes slingshots at soldiers, and beefy beef boy Roderick expertly executes the English soldiers and drops fun one-liners like, you're gonna pay, when he attacks.
Nice.
Hugo tells Roderick, I wish I was strong like that. Roderick looks at tiny Hugo and says, mate, you've got an army of rats. Amicia is really quick to give him a, Roderick! But then they move on before she can scold Roderick for goading her rat-controlling baby brother. Amicia, Hugo, and Roderick spot Melly and Lucas, but can't get to them. Melly and Lucas warn the rest about more soldiers, but say if they can run through that burning house, maybe we can all meet up again. Roderick clarifies, hi, you want us to run into that house that's actively on fire? Melly and Lucas go, yeah, that one. I think there's a path back there. And he's like, got it. Cool. These are the best friends I've ever had.
Hey, there'll be no rats.
Yeah, true. So Amicia, Hugo, and Roderick head into the on-fire house, disposing of more English soldiers on the way through. The 3 navigate the burning building and come up on where they can meet back up with Melly and Lucas. The area is heavily guarded with archers, so it's impossible to sneak past undetected. Roderick finds a cart and offers to push it so they can use it as cover from the archers. Amicia tries to help him push, but he shoves her off, telling her to keep an eye out for guards. Roderick is a full bull and pushes this heavy-ass cart, keeping Amicia and Hugo safe from the archers. A wave of foot soldiers also show up that Amicia makes quick work of with her sling. As she's defending Hugo from the nearby soldiers, Hugo calls out to Roderick. Roderick has been hit by one of the archers. Roderick screams out and tells them to keep going because they have to keep Amicia and Hugo safe. More and more archers hit Roderick as his health wanes.
Ugh.
Amicia finally kills the last foot soldier, and the cart has gotten them safe through the archer area. Roderick slumps in the shadows of safety and says he just needs a break. He just needs to catch his breath. Through a nearby gate, Lucas and Melly look on. Roderick leans on the cart with 3 or 4 arrows actively sticking through his body.
What the fuck? You're not supposed to be able to survive that.
Yeah. He sighs heavily and then catches up with Amicia and Hugo at the gate with Lucas and Melly. With his last bit of strength, Roderick lifts the gate long enough for Amicia and Hugo to go under and rejoin their friends. Just as Roderick goes to get through the gate, he collapses.
Oh.
Hugo reaches out to hold Roderick as he passes. Roderick looks in Hugo's eyes, knowing he is unable to go on, and apologizes to him.
Oh.
Roderick looks at 5-year-old Hugo and simply says, "I'm sorry." Roderick dies at the gate, riddled with arrows, knowing that he helped them make it a little further. I fucking hate this.
That's awful.
I kind of wasn't as crazed about Arthur's death because we didn't see him a lot.
Right.
But I feel like we got to know Roderick so well, and he was so helpful as this huge brute force. And selfishly, I just loved him. I loved his voice lines. I loved his performance. I loved his character. I thought he was such a great add to the group. And the fact that he sacrifices himself to get the De Runes through really extra broke my heart, you know? Like, Arthur dies in a sneak bastard way where some asshole stabbed him through, you know?
Right.
Roderick sacrifices everything, knowing that this will help justify the death of his father and bring his family peace, and it ruined my day.
There are few things more badass in the world than being filled with arrows.
Oh my god, right?
And using your last bit of strength to help somebody else. Like,
oh,
yeah, you're always going to be viewed as the biggest badass in the world for that.
He was 18.
Oh.
Amicia holds Hugo close to her chest as Hugo softly cries after losing his friend.
Yeah.
Melly is screaming, saying, "We're going to kill all of them. Every last fucking one of them. They can't keep killing us. We must rise up."
Fuck yeah, Melly.
Hugo says, "I'll help you if you help me save Mummy." Melly agrees to the deal. She's like, "Abso-fucking-lutely, as long as I get to kill people."
Let me ride on top of a rat tornado. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. She's raging on it. And then there were 4 remaining rat kids that run to the cathedral where Vitalis has been hiding out. The entire campus is ravaged with rat rot. Amicia and Hugo face off with some of Vitalis' personal army right at the doors of the cathedral. But with Hugo being the Rat King, they aren't too much trouble. Inside the cathedral, Vitalis has been taunting Lady Beatrice, who is in a cage hanging from the ceiling.
Oh my god, like a go-go girl.
Yeah. It is not sexy the way... Like, she's really hot, but this is not a sexy scene.
Right.
Lady Beatrice sees her children and screams to run because Vitalis has crossed the threshold. That weird motherfucker can control rats now. You guys gotta go. Amicia is like, "Well, hold my hand, Hugo. We're gonna kill this weird dude." Melly says, "Well, she and Lucas are coming too." Lucas doesn't really say anything because, again, he's just a sweet little angel baby.
I keep forgetting Lucas is even here.
He's a scientist, damn it. Like,
yeah.
He's not a brawler. He's like, I can rub some lavender together and it's a really soothing blend.
Right.
The 4 of them walk down the pews of the cathedral to Vitalis. The pews hold the decaying corpses of followers of Vitalis who have been sacrificed to the rats in experiments. It is rows and rows and rows of bodies of people who lost their lives to this man's megalomania. Vitalis is like, "Get over here. I'm going to kidnap Hugo back so I have a little rat buddy, and I'm going to kill you meddling kids." Vitalis then unleashes an army of white rats. Now, we've only seen black rats to this point, so it's like, oh, that's right, they do come in other colors. He calls them his army of angels, his angels of the new world. Hugo can't control the white rats, only the black ones, which is the conflict of this fight.
Oh, okay.
Vitalis' white rats regroup to attack Amicia and Hugo. Melly screams, "She's coming back with them and she's gonna kill that old motherfucking man!" Amicia says, "Thank you for attending, but please stay back. This is our blood. This is a family matter.
Right.
You can cheer me on from here, okay, babe?" Melly and Lucas are like, "Okay, that is valid. We will be here, but we support you."
Right. We're going to cheer from the sidelines. Go team, go.
Amicia and Hugo use the black original recipe rats to fight off the tornadoes of Vitalis' white angel rats. Lady Beatrice yells to Hugo to be careful, Hugo, and only Hugo. And Amicia looks up at her mother, who even in this moment only has eyes for her golden child brother. Amicia's oldest sibling rage subsides as she sees Melly and Lucas wave from above and promise to take care of freeing Lady Beatrice. So they're still going to be very, very helpful in this, thankfully.
Okay, so they're not just watching.
Yeah, and they're not on the battlefield. They're like, we're going to sneaky and free your mom since you don't want us to fight with Vitalis and the rats. Totally get it. We respect it. We'll be over here. Amicia and Hugo come face to face with Vitalis, who sends wave after wave of rat tornadoes at Amicia and Hugo. Some rat tornadoes are easily 20 feet tall and form giant towers that rise and fall all around Amicia.
Ugh.
Vitalis also sends the rats underground to attack Amicia from under the floor beneath her feet to keep her running around and moving through the battle arena. And as Vitalis becomes a Goliath, held up with the power of his white rats, Amicia knocks him back to earth with her humble sling. Vitalis, battered, bruised, and bleeding from multiple rock shots to the face from Amicia,
Hell yeah,
falls to the ground. Hugo is calm while watching the old man die at his feet, covered in the blood he had worked so hard for. Vitalis dies staring into Hugo's eyes as Hugo witnesses the soul of the excommunicated Vitalis leave his body.
Sorry, this 5-year-old staring into your eyes as you die is just so fucked.
That's not a good way to go.
No, and the 5-year-old watching it happen equally as fucked.
The 5-year-old knowing that this man killed so many people just to capture him, suck on his blood, and do some weird vampire-esque shit, just to die because his sister threw a bunch of rocks at him.
Oh, God.
The only other person known with the macula, the same powers as Hugo, died at Hugo's feet. The credits roll. 3 days after the death of Vitalis, Amicia and Hugo are at a farmer's market. Amicia was picking up some items for Lucas and heading back to the road. Hugo says he's excited to see the next castle they get to live in. Amicia tries to tell him to level his expectations because might not be living in a castle anymore. I know you've been pretty privileged in the past with castles.
It might be a manor.
Be real, it might be an apartment. As they leave town, a street vendor tells Amicia and Hugo to go check out the fair. There's an event going on to celebrate the 3rd day with no rats.
And it's not a Renaissance fair, it's just a now fair.
It's just a now fair. We just call it a fair.
Yeah.
At the edge of the fair, 2 guards say that Hugo and Amicia cannot come in. They heard there's a small boy with his sister wanted by very powerful people, and they don't want any trouble. Amicia goes, okay, heard, got it, I'm leaving, and takes Hugo's hand and leads him out of town. Hugo is like, I want to go to the fair. There's going to be apples. Amicia, I fucking love apples.
Yeah, and funnel cake, and like really good root beer.
There's always a dude like playing a lute. Come on. Amicia's like, I know, but not today. We have to get back to Lucas. To distract him, Amicia challenges Hugo to a race back to the cart, saying the winner gets a bunch of apples. They run through the rest of the village and catch back up to the cart with Lucas and Lady Beatrice. Lucas takes the reins of the horse cart and Lady Beatrice is resting, laying down in the back. She is incredibly fucked up from the kidnapping and the torturing.
Right.
In the cart, Hugo and Amicia sit next to each other. Hugo talks about how the people in town look at him funny, how Melly looked at him the same way, and that he's sad that Melly left because she didn't like him anymore.
Oh.
Amicia says, no, it's not that Melly doesn't like you. She's just like a street rat. She has other shit to do.
Right. She's got her found family.
Hugo is sad again on the cart. Amicia looks at her baby brother, who's had the weight of the world on his shoulders at the age of 5, and decides she just wants to be silly with him. She makes a silly face and asks Hugo if he thinks she's pretty. Hugo screams, "You're as ugly as a fly!"
That's little brother response. Hell yeah.
The 2 siblings giggle and giggle in the back of their cart. Fugitives of the state, but still together. And that is Plague Tale: Innocence.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Andrea.
I hate rats.
I do too. Fuck rats.
Fuck
and
rats.
Rat tornadoes.
Rat tornado was the most upsetting shit I've seen since Rat King and Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't think I like rats. Just the way the rats were flowing, the sound was so good, it was upsetting, which is just a testament to how great of a job the studio did It was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this. I didn't think I would like this as much. I thought this would be kind of mid, but I really liked it.
It seems a lot more fun than I was ever going to give it credit for.
Yeah, no, it truly was. Like, I thought it'd be like a 6 or a 7, to be real. Honestly, in my heart, it's like an 8. It's a high 8, low 9.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I had a great time, and I'm really excited to play Requiem. It may be for the show, or it may just be for me. I haven't decided yet.
Oh, no, this episode's going to pop off. You're going to definitely do it for the show.
And if you guys want Requiem, please justify it by letting me know in the comments, because I haven't seen it on PlayStation Plus yet, so I'd have to buy it. Which I can justify if it's for you guys. So let me know, or if you see it on PlayStation Plus, just tag me and I'll know to go download it. So
right.
I really enjoyed it. I love Amicia. I love all the kids. I love Roderick so much, and it was really important for production to want to have child performers to lend the authenticity of child actors doing child performances and letting these children be kids within the world. So,
yeah.
You know, it was really fascinating to hear that they were that true to form on everything. I really enjoyed that. I like this game a lot. I think this is fantastic. And it does kind of suck that it came out in 2019 when there were so many good games.
Oh my God, so many good games, and a lot got buried.
And Days Gone.
And Days Gone.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to shit on that game twice in a row, but twice in a row I will say that it's better than people gave it credit for. I really enjoyed that. Death Stranding, obviously fantastic. Control, obviously fantastic.
I didn't mean to hit us with 2 episodes about brothers and sisters, and like one of them has special blood and shit like that. Like
in 2019.
Yeah, we did not intend for that to happen 2 episodes in a row, but it happens all the time on this fucking show. We just accidentally arrange it that way.
It kind of sucks that pre-COVID we had so many games come out about plagues and rampant sickness that have like caused so much pain and death, and then 3 months after they all come out, we're all on lockdown. Like, that's wild.
There was that TV show, The Last Man on Earth, that was out right around the same time.
Yeah.
Like, all that crazy shit.
I loved that show. That was fantastic.
So good. Anyways, so if you enjoyed that, please make sure you like us, you subscribe to us, you tell everybody you know about us.
Yeah, and if you want to rock some stuff, get some stickers or shirts or anything, we do have a merch store on our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
We've also got links to everything like our Patreon, and our Patreon is what keeps the lights on. That's why this episode is presented ad-free. So we'd like to thank our patrons now.
Yes, so we have Unuseful, Michael, Anirban, Matthew, Ubonks,
Zan, Autumn, Alex, Sid,
Jutsu, Mozart, Tamiya, Ian,
Danny Boy, Zira, Ari, Big Cat PDX, Chase,
Alfredo, Mikolaj, Teramek, Amber, Berserk Panda, QM 1993,
Damien, That Chonky Boy, AJ, Paul, Omar, Aaron,
Cerise, Molly, Krisha, Mollymock, Jackie,
Jacob, Ellen, and Steamed Hams from Albany.
Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. We love seeing this grow. We love talking to you every single week.
Yes, and for those Patreons specifically, I have a Patreon episode coming up, and I put out a poll on our Discord for some upcoming Patreon episodes that I'm playing with. So if you want to get in on the vote of driving what kind of content goes on the Patreon, let me know. I'm going to let you know right now in this episode, I'm between doing an episode on the history of Tamagotchi or sponsored games like the Pepsi Man game and like other games that came out as a result of corporate greed.
And we remembered recently that you were directly involved with some sponsored content one time.
I forgot we talked about that.
Yeah.
That's right. The other day in the car, I was like, oh, when I worked at Loot Crate, we did this integration with this game. And you went, aren't you going to do a Patreon episode? I was like, I might if they want it. I don't know if anyone gives a shit. And you were like, but that's funny that you could like Instagram DM some friends and get like actual scoop on this and corroborate your stories to like get down to what happens in a sponsored game. So that might happen. They're both probably going to happen. I just wanted to see what people wanted to hear first. Either me talking about sponsored games and the history of those, or the world of Tamagotchi and cleaning up digital shit, because that's funny to me.
Honestly, you'll probably just do them both eventually anyway.
I will, but whatever you want to hear first, get in the Discord and vote, and I will deliver it to you on Patreon as soon as I can.
Excellent. Well, anyways, Goombas, thank you so much for listening, and this is Tom and Andrea reminding you.
Rats are fucking gross.
And don't skip the cutscenes. Bye!